Thank you and good evening. Welcome to Citywide Sports Facility here in London, Ontario for OFL football. It is already week 5 of competition, and they say the cream of the crop rises to the top, KJ Academy. I am John Urban, happy to take you through this competition between the London Junior Mustangs with a 3-1 record and the undefeated, undisputed, and awfully mean-looking this year Cambridge Lions. And coach, we're about getting ready to kick it all off. Cambridge won the coin toss. They deferred to the second half. So it will be the Junior Mustangs in their gray uniforms with silver buckets kicking the pigskin away to these red jerseys with the gold pants and gold buckets known as the Cambridge Lions. Your thoughts before we dig in to this OFL action?
Well, this is a heavyweight title fight. First of all, John, welcome back. We missed you, man.
Appreciate
Glad
that.
to have you back on the show. The Dream Team is back. I mean, we haven't. Last time we did a game, I think, was Vanier. Well, we did a couple this summer, but on TV, Vanier Cup. So just a great opportunity to have you back. And the tail of the tape is this: Cambridge has been winning games by 30 plus points every game. The Mustangs are 3-1, and their offense exploded last week with 53 points. So I think we're going to see a lot of fireworks and explosiveness tonight.
It looks like lining up to kick this one all the way will be Jed Troupish. I know the Troupish family very well. They've been growing up through this London Junior Mustangs program, and he'll be booting it away from the 45 to start this action all off here. TGIF, everybody. Welcome to London Junior Mustangs football as the kick returner fumbled it temporarily, picked it off the turf. Great job. Now, are they saying the ball came loose, coach?
Fumbles recovered by your Junior Mustangs.
Wow, what a way to start this game as we're going to get a replay.
Here's the replay. You see Chaz picks it up. He returns as a pretty good football player, but he doesn't hold the ball close to his body, and it's stripped by number 16 from the Mustangs, John, and just a great job, and what a way to start the game. You're playing an undefeated football team. That's the way you want to start if you're Bruno DeSando and his coaching
staff. And I couldn't make out the number, whether it was 80 and Kevin Constantine or number 60 and Christian Fentilio, but one of those boys was able to pick up the loose rock, and just like that, the London offense goes onto the field for their first snap of the game. A bit of a high snap settled down by the quarterback, who's going to hang on to this one, but pressure coming in the backfield, and a great tackle by the Lions in Nathan Clifford. Clifford just hunted down the quarterback here, KJ, and he was relentless.
So a great job by Cambridge in watching film. Last week, DJ was able to keep the zone read. He should have gave it. As you see, number 8 does a good job of just kind of sitting on DJ, and that's a give. And, early in the game, the quarterback, he'll fix that as we go.
Would you rather him see the ball, throw the ball, that is?
No, he should have handed it off actually to the running back there, and would have been at least a 2-yard gain, not a 5-yard loss.
Back into the gun goes DJ Fonte. There's motion from one side to the left. I believe that's Melrose. The ball is snapped. This is an aerial assault. Melrose catches it, but no real estate to go. Again, a fierce tackle by the Lions by Marco Piccioni, and I'm noticing something early, KJ, by the Lions. They are a hard-hitting football team.
Yeah, and they bring a lot of pressure. It's been their MO. Number 8's a great football player. I've been watching him for the last few years grow up. He's not the biggest guy, but he can make plays, and you can see him in the open field. And again, just a great job of watching film. Last week, that play went for 15 yards. This week, -2.
Third in a country mile. What do you suspect's coming up here, Coach?
They'll probably look to maybe roll DJ out or try to throw a corner route. We'll see.
There's 2 in the backfield. 3 will run to the line as DJ Fonte stutters on the snap. Almost got the Lions to bite. He's going to throw this one deep down the far sidelines. Out of the intended receiver's reach, though, in Cyan Akabavoka, but that one went out of bounds, and it actually went into the Cambridge Lions bench.
It was nearly picked off by number 4 from Cambridge, John. And again, that's what you call the freeze play. It's a great call on 3rd and long. You're trying to get the defense to go offside, but they didn't. You would have liked to see them maybe to reset and run another play, John.
Yeah, that was Stephen McDonald for the Lions on the defense. Had a chance at the interception. 1 of 2.
They're going for it.
Brothers, and on 4th in a country mile, you're right, Coach. They are going to go for it from where they're positioned on the field. And I guess after the original kickoff to start this game, they're playing with house money. This one is caught deep by the receiver, and he's passed it into the end zone. Touchdown, Junior Mustangs. Akabavoka into the end zone. That is a 45-yard TD strike.
And Kieran got away with one, John. That should have been pass interference. If we get the replay again from Stephanie here, our awesome producer, you'll see it, Johnny. He actually runs the hook and go, but watch him push off there, and he actually extends his hands. It should have been pass interference, John. I think that's a call the Mustangs. They'll be glad to have that there wasn't called, but I think that should have been pass interference.
I think some fans would say, though, that looked like a little bit of coincidental collision, although, to your credit, KJ, the push-off at the end of it didn't help.
Yeah, that's all. If he doesn't push off, it's different if they tangle themselves. But, and again, the ref there sees it better than we do.
Well, the extra point is through. So with 9:50 remaining here in the opening quarter of play between the undefeated Cambridge Lions and the 3-1 London Junior Mustangs, it is the home team in the Junior Mustangs that spring out to an early 7-0 lead.
And you've called the games this summer, John, with Cambridge and London, and you've kind of been seeing this matchup over the last few years.
That touchdown is brought to you by
right now Cambridge has the edge because they are the best team in this league. They killed Hamilton. What a start for Coach Bruno DeSando and Greg Wilson. Fourth and forever. They take a shot and they score.
Let's go Mustangs.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, over 4th and 20 yards needed, and it ends up turning into a 45-yard TD strike between DJ Fonte with a heck of a gunsling, might I add, down the far sidelines to Akpavoka, who reached in, grabbed it at the 15, and as you mentioned, maybe got away with a little bit of offensive pass interference. Once again, we see the kick returner by the Cambridge Lions, this time in Stephen McDonald, who we saw make a great hit defensively earlier in this game. Sort of have a little bit of a heart with the one hop here, and I think that's something that Cambridge has to be careful of, because they got to recover the ball to get their offense on the field.
That first drive brought to you by Battlefield. They're our new sponsors. We were able to give you these great shots from our producer, and we got Alex Stoddard giving those great shots to us today.
Yeah, using the great lift we have here at Citywide as in the pro set are the Lions. Their first offensive play of the game is on the run, and they go to the big man who breaks off of a couple tackles. It's a gain of 23 yards.
Kenyon Dalton
and doing the damage as the PA announcer and Mr. Eves announces Kenyon Dalton.
Yeah, number 23, Caden DeBoer. Thank God he was able to get off that block.
Look at the size difference
here. Great pursuit, yeah. Great pursuit, and that's why Cambridge has the number 1 offense. This kid is dynamite.
Yeah, this kid looks like a freight train. The KD train, we'll call him, and Kenyon Dalton will look to become the express train here with his team down by 7 and him in the backfield behind his quarterback. 2 run to the line. Looks like they're going to hand it off to Dalton again, and why not? The big man rumbles to the far side. Cuts back in on the field, breaks off of a couple tackles. That's another Dalton run and another first down. 2 for 2. Not a bad way to start the game.
Yeah, they work the outside zone, and Bobby Chiliganis leading the way blocking. He's an ex-Mustang. Played with us for the last 3 seasons, but he just bounces it, and he's just a different level of a player. You can tell he's just bigger and stronger and faster than everyone, and he's going to be a load tonight.
Love how Bobby T plays the game, but the respect he has off the field came up to you pre-game, Coach, just to give you a little bit of respect, and you got to like that.
Oh, yeah.
Even though he was wearing the opposition's uniform while doing it. So another dose of Dalton up the middle, but this time the defensive line does manage to make them sort of shut down for a short game.
Yeah, that's Jaden Sargent and Daniel Amari do a good job of getting penetration, and Kirchhoff's had a great season so far in on the tackle. So the first time the Mustangs will stop, it's going to bring up second and about 9, John.
And do they go back to Dalton here? Do we see the first time that the ball will be thrown by the quarterback for the Lions in number 10, Jacob Book? So Book takes the snap. They're going to hand it off to the running back. It isn't Dalton, though. The ball, I thought, may have come loose, but no, hanging on to it was Cio Giannis. And one thing I'll say about Bobby T's last name is Grandpa always gets a kick when I try and pronounce it.
Number 40, I think that's Trey Potter. I'm not sure, John. I don't have the numbers list. I just have the kids' names. I just don't have the numbers by, but he does a good job of penetrating and makes a great tackle.
Well, you know these kids. It is Tremont Porter wearing number 40 tonight for the gray uniforms with silver buckets, Coach.
And he has a broken wrist, partner, and he was playing fullback, and he's just been cleared to come back and play. He's playing with it wrapped up.
And you know a thing or two about wrist injuries right now,
yeah,
Coach.
Just a little.
As going back behind the line of center is JB, Jacob Book. He's going to take the snap, range back in the pocket. It's a play action, but the quarterback is smothered as he threw the ball. Getting in on the damage was Frankie Crucio.
Cambridge Lions, 4th and 10.
I'm going to tell you, John, Kirchhoff's got this innate abilities. He played D-line for us in the summer. This year, in the fall, he's the middle linebacker in the second year of this age group. He's one of the older kids, but I'll tell you, there's no one that rushes the passer better purely than this kid.
And Jacob Book has to be careful there because while he's in the throwing motion, he's almost getting sandwiched by 2 gray uniforms, and that can do a lot of quarterback damage, as we've seen in the NFL already this season with guys like Cam Newton, Ben Roethlisberger, And a few to name the least, and now there's
Quarterback
more
is stopped
damage
up by
coming
the Mustangs.
as a
Turnover on
herd
downs.
of Mustangs
First
get to the
down,
quarterback
Junior
behind the line of
Mustangs.
scrimmage, and it leads to a turnover on down. So, Jay, what do you think about that? The first drive of this game we saw offensively by the Junior Mustangs, yeah, they go for it on 4th and a country mile, but it paid off in a 45-yard TD strike. Here, Cambridge tries to repeat the same fate on the opposite side of the turf, but yet the defense stays strong for the home team.
That Tremaine Potter sack brought to you by Big Steel Box, and you know what? When your defense getting penetration, then all things are possible on defense.
DJ Fonte takes the snap, looks to fake this handoff. It's a play action. Pass is completed right up the field. That is Melrose, who is eventually tackled
Pass complete to number
from
15,
behind, but
Melrose.
not before he gains a lot of
first down,
territory
Junior Mustangs.
into the Lions zone.
Yeah, this is something that we've always seen with Cambridge. They love to bring pressure, and you see it there, and DJ's seen it, and he just finds Melrose in the seam, and just a great throw, and what a catch and run by Melrose. 42 yards on the play, Ron. First down, Mustangs.
All rise, Chase Judge eventually tackling TJ Wonderbread, a.k.a. Melrose, in on the action. And it does get them into great territory here in the Lions side of the turf. A high snap, though, will force the Junior Mustangs to go back onto the ball. And I love the high football IQ by the running back there to simply jump onto the ball and make sure there was no more damage done there. That was Isaiah McCauley. And to be honest with you, Coach, at this age group, we're used to seeing that blunder turn into a Rocky Mountain.
Pedigree. That's all I'm going to say. He comes from a family that his uncle was one of the great Western running backs, and his dad, his other uncle, coached at CCH. Pedigree.
Yeah, to sort of cut off the bleeding, though, on that play after a very bad snap. This one's better. DJ Fonte flushed out of the pocket, throws it wildly.
Ball's incomplete.
Johnny Manziel-esque on that play as he just sort of hucked it. And trying to find Stojakovic on the play, but it doesn't come to fruition. Incomplete pass.
Yeah, Colvin does a great job of trying to get to the football. And DJ throws great wherewithal to get the football there. But what a start to the ball game. The Mustangs in 3rd and long here. A great big play, and then now they just got to dig themselves out of this hole.
So both teams have successfully gotten to their opponent's, territory. It's whether they can come to fruition on 3rd and 4th down. Another high snap settled down by DJ Fonte. The attempted pass to the near side, incomplete. Trying to find Keyshawn Manning as it goes off of his fingertips. Right on Manning's back, though, is Marco Piccioni. So I'm wondering if he caught the ball. Not a lot of real estate to go up the field with it.
No, you can tell both these teams have done their homework. They've watched film and another opportunity. What I love of what Greg Wilson's doing right now and Bruno DeSanto with this offense is they're spreading the ball around. They've thrown it to 5 different receivers, and we've only played 2 series of football.
I think both head coaches have played a little too much Madden 2020, if I can get it out of my mouth, because they're going for it again here on 4th down. It's a high snap settled down by DJ Fonte. He's going to be flushed out of the pocket. He's going to have to go for a run, and he'll just scamper out of bounds in front of the Cambridge bench. And essentially, that's a turnover on downs for the London Junior Mustangs. So, once again, as I was mentioning, the coaching strategy here early, it's a lot like a first-time player of the video game Madden.
Yeah, John, just the snaps so far have been the issue. That Joe DeSanto is the center, and it's a wet night, right? So the ball's a little slick, and I'm sure they're going to go work on it on the sideline here. But now you get Adam Melrose' defense. The first drive against this high-scoring offense.
I understand, though, going forward on 4th and a country mile earlier because you're playing with house money, getting the ball off your own kickoff. But there, I'm not 100% sure why you do that.
Yeah.
You should have sacrificed the field positioning. And now you have Cambridge on a screen to the near side. The ball is completed with a bit of a blocks up the field. Looks like he's got the first down. Now there is a flag.
Screen to number
that's
7.
Bobby T. Giannis in on the action. And a great job by the quarterback, too, and Jacob Book to sort of lure the defense in to make the play.
I'm going to say it again, John, and obviously we're the London Junior Mustangs, but I don't like the call. It's a great job by 74 here. He gets his hands out, and they call him block in the back. I don't like it, but the Mustangs will benefit. It'll be 1st and 20.
And unfortunately, there is a Junior Mustang down at midfield.
What are you doing? Elizabeth, don't. You can't go on the...
As they are getting some medical attention out onto the field here. And we hope that, again, for...
Maybe we'll get the replay. I don't know what happened there, guys. I didn't see. I don't know if you guys saw.
Here we go on the screen, though. And again, great job by Book to allow the defense to penetrate the line on the screen to see Giannis. And essentially, I believe right there, unfortunately,
that's his leg. That's his leg, so unfortunate.
And we really hope that he is okay.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we're going to kind of stay away from the injured player on the field out of respect. And this is unfortunately, again, we see this happen in football. It is a physical sport. And with 4:21 remaining here in the opening quarter of play, with the Mustangs having a 7-0 lead over the undefeated Cambridge Lions, unfortunately, we get a pause in the play due to an injury. And, Jay, this is something we just don't want to see at this level, but at any level for that matter. But unfortunately, like I said, it's a physical sport and things do happen.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it was his own teammate that he tripped over. And
sometimes those are the worst because you don't see it coming.
No, and that's it's hard to see what happened. I just saw his leg, kind of his hip. And, last year we had a same situation with Sapp. Very terrible situation. And, he came back. He's now playing at Lucas. I played all summer this year for the Junior Mustangs. So, like you said, injuries happen, and we just hope DeBoer's a tough kid. Let's hope he's okay.
And you see both teams taking a knee out of respect for the injured player on the field. The light drizzle coming across the Forest City right now. We reached our daytime high of 17 degrees. It's currently dropped to 15. We expect that temperature to get colder before the conclusion of this game. Another thing that we do have to be aware of is that there is a thunderstorm on the radar that is supposed to come through this area at roughly 9:30 local time. And Jay, you and I were actually talking about it pregame that barring any injuries, ironically enough, during this injury timeout, and a smooth game, we should get in the action no problem. However, though, if there were a couple injuries, a couple penalties, and a couple delays, that could put this game in totally in jeopardy in the sense that you got to get through at least 3 quarters of full action plus a play into the fourth for it to be an official game. And you've actually experienced it during the Summer League action against the Essex Ravens where you went down all the way to Windsor to compete. Mother Nature eventually nixed that idea to get through a full fourth quarter effort. And your team actually had to travel back down to the City of Roses to conclude that ball game, albeit it worked to your advantage, Coach, because you were losing in that game before Mother Nature intervened, and then you ended up coming back to win it in the part 2 of that equation.
Yeah, they called me crazy for going down. I think that's what the terminology that was used. And
I think they call you crazy for other reasons, Coach.
But for that one, they said, what's he doing? Come down on a Friday with a little over a quarter to play. But our kids came down, and we actually gave up a touchdown early, John, and then we're able to come back and win in the fourth quarter. So a testament to these kids. And DeBoer was one of the big guys that made a lot of plays that night. So let's hope he's okay.
And I couldn't make out the numbers, so you're saying it is DeBoer because there's a bunch.
If we get the replay one more time, we'll just kind of.
Unfortunately, there's a bunch of training staff around him, and rightfully so, trying to attend to him.
He's coming down right here. He steps up. He's coming to make the play, and he gets. I think it's his knee. I don't know. It's hard to tell. So let's hope he's okay.
And it looked like he initially tried to get up originally, but then obviously putting the weight on that situation as.
Yeah, he looks like he's okay. They're getting him up, and I know it wasn't. Thank God it wasn't a head injury, and that's what you always worry about. But it's going to be a lower body extremity, and hopefully he's going to be okay.
A great sign of respect by both the Lions and Junior Mustangs fans here at Citywide to applaud the player to get back to, well, at least to his own accord, as it is taking several people to help him off the field. And you got to think that this is fall football. This gentleman will, regardless of what the injury is, has a quick weekend, and then he's got to go right back to school and then the books on Monday. So you hope not only for himself, but for his future footballings during this fall season that he is okay and can recover quickly.
Yeah, the London Junior Mustangs would like to thank our corporate sponsors, Beckett Personal Injury Lawyers, Source for Sports, Oxford Learning Centers, King of Pigs, IRS Security, Subaru of London, Budapest Restaurant, Picture Day Photography, Centerfield Sports Facility, Crown Auto Care, Sport Nutrition, and McMaster Chevrolet for supporting our great football community. And, John, it's when you have those great people behind you, it would provides these kids the opportunity to play and give us these YouTube broadcasts and KJAX Communications, and of course getting guys like you out here. You're a pro, and we're thankful that we are able to bring this game to you as we resume play.
So 1st and 10 coming up here for the Lions in the pro set, and I beg your pardon, it is 1st and 20. The quarterback hucks this one down. It is caught by Dalton. Dalton breaks off of one tackle, first down and more. And a bit of a low hit, but it does the job by Keyshawn Manning.
Big run.
He pretty much turned himself into a speed bump at the end of this play, but yet it somehow worked in slowing down Dalton.
Keyshawn Manning does a heck of a job, because if he doesn't make that play, that's a touchdown. And I'll tell you, just an excellent open field tackle. Kirchhoff tried to make the play, but he wasn't able to.
So 1st and 10 as Dalton takes his team from their side of the turf into the Junior Mustangs with the ball marked down at the 48. Into the gun goes the quarterback. As he'll take the snap, that's Jacob Book. Book's going to throw this one to the far side. It is incomplete. Incomplete
Number
pass,
10,
and that
Jacob
was
Booth
Bobby
with the
T,
ball.
the intended target.
Second
Trey
down,
Potter,
Cambridge
once again,
Lions.
with the pressure. He's having himself a whale of the first quarter, his first game back.
This quarterback, though, appears to be picking up on that pressure, though, Jay. We saw on that sort of screen, it looked like a halfback screen, even though I know it wasn't by design. They almost can fool you if you bring up the pressure too much. They're going to just lure you in and find that open man down the field.
Yeah, great coverage. Good news. They're saying the injury's not as bad as first suspected.
Wonderful news for the junior Mustangs and the family DeBoer, who probably are watching or listening to this broadcast at home. Jacob Book releases it as he is hit. Another completed pass. Is that Dalton again?
Yeah.
It is, and he's gone. 20 in on the 10, breaking off a couple tackles. Did he skipper in?
The ball is complete, number 32.
They're going to say down.
Yeah,
No, touchdown now. Lions.
Touchdown, Cambridge
here
That
it
is a 53-yard TD hookup between the quarterback and Dalton.
Yeah, I'm not sure what again, DeBoer's one of the best guys in the secondary, so he's out right now. But again, Dalton, they lost him there. He kind of slipped out of the backfield, and he broke like 4 or 5 tackles. The Mustangs were there. They just, I know Coach Morales will fix that, missed tackles, but this kid's he's a load, John.
KD, extra cheesy, making it look easy out there with the 50-plus yard scamper. But I hate to say this, he made a couple gray uniforms look like pylons as he stiffed them out of his way with those final 10 yards needed for the major.
Yeah, it's rare you see a guy this big, but he is pretty big, John, and he's so far he's got all the
Point
Cambridge
after is
offense.
complete, flag on the play.
So the point after is actually a high looper that misses the uprights to the right, but a multitude of flags, more flags than a UN meeting, as I like to say, thrown on this one.
Look at this replay we're getting from Steph here. I mean, this is awesome. It's like you said, it kind of hung up in the air and got pushed right by the I don't know what they're calling the penalty on the Mustangs, actually, John. So they're going to redo
The Mustangs
it.
will be applied to.
So that benefits the Lions.
Like
After
to redo
missing
the
the
play.
point after, they will get a chance to still tie this game up at 7s with 2:58 remaining here in the opening quarter of play. Looking to keep up with their undefeated record. Now, great penetration
Point after is now good.
by the special
3
teams
minutes left in your
defense,
first quarter.
but
Brings
the
up
kicker does his
7-7.
job, gets it
All right,
through
it's
the
our ball
uprights,
game.
and we're tied up here at 7s from Citywide Sports Field in the Forest City.
And once again, I mean, Friday Night Lights, I'll tell you, last week was an exciting first half, offense galore. That's what we've had here so far. And, it'll be interesting to see if DeBoer is able to come back. I'm not sure he will
Oxford
be.
Learning Center
We're
is
hearing
the
that it's
answer,
not as
whether
bad
it's
as it was,
early
but
reading or advanced
the Mustangs,
calculus,
might have to
everything
bring
in between.
Melrose in on defense.
Oxford
and
Learning Center's
some of those other
unique
guys on
approach to
offense
after-school tutoring
to shore up
your
that
child
secondary
to
right now,
succeed.
because you're going to have to
Oxford
match up
Learning
with
is
this
pleased
kid.
to partner with the
Slight
London Junior
wind
Mustangs
gusts starting to
academic
kick
program.
up here at
Book your session.
Citywide. The rain, though,
Today
has
at just no cost,
subsided.
just drop by the hub.
Again, we are
Go
expecting
Mustangs,
sort of
go.
sprinkles on and off throughout this game. And hopefully this broadcast of this game doesn't go too late, because on the radar there is thunderstorms expected for later this evening.
Now the penalty gets assessed on the kickoff.
So now they're
which is
booting.
interesting, so they get to redo it. I don't like that, John. You get to redo the kick and it gets assessed on the kickoff. I just don't understand why Canadian football has changed that rule.
Well, it
Doesn't make
makes
sense
it
to me.
even that much more imperative
You're
that
being
you
penalized twice.
don't
though. It
take
doesn't
a
make
penalty.
sense. He missed the extra point. This doesn't make any sense.
Well, they are going to kick it from midfield regardless. Dalton, who did the damage, is going to do it with the boot now and kick this one away. And to be honest with you, I'm asking for that kid's ID at this point, because he looks like a man out there. As this one is down near the 20-yard line
Ball's
on the
picked
kick
up.
return. As we watch it here,
Ball's picked up by number
both
7.
teams
Move on,
struggling
Joshua.
on the
First
kick
down,
returns
Junior
here
Mustangs.
early, Jay. Maybe that goes back to what you were alluding to earlier with it raining earlier. Maybe that ball and the gloves and the turf just a little too moist for the kick returners.
Yeah, Stoviak tries to get up the field, but no one picked up 32 or 92, and 92 ended up making the tackle. But like you said, 32 forced Coven into 92, and an 8-yard return. But again, catch it in the air, and maybe you get 20, like Coach Ron says.
Thomas Nadasti in on the tackle for the Lions, as it will be DJ Fonte taking the snap deep in his own territory. Slings it to the far side. Incomplete pass.
Be second and 10. Junior
Trying to
Mustangs.
find his target on that one. Once again, Akapavoka, the gentleman that he hooked up with a 45-yard touchdown to start this game off on their first drive.
Yeah, nice hook route. They run the concept, those quick concepts, get the football out, try to get 6-7 yards, and Kieran's got to make that catch.
2 minutes and 30 seconds remains here in the opening quarter of play from Citywide in OFL Week 5 action. Second down play coming up. DJ Fonte taking the snap. He's going to hang on to it. The quarterback going to go for a gallop right up the gut. He's got a first down and more. Past midfield into the Lions territory.
DJ Fonte takes
and what I like
number,
even more about that is at the end of that play, Chase Judge, who seems to be the saving grace on defense for these Lions, he stopped Melrose earlier for a touchdown, and I believe he stops DJ Fonte on a touchdown here. But my original point being that Fonte, he's a pride asset of these London Junior Mustangs. He has to protect himself, and he certainly does at the end of this play.
Yeah, he protects the football, gets the iron cross on, but I wish he would have just slid and not take that shot.
So still criticism from Coach KJ Kedemy after the quarterback goes for a big first down gallop.
Coaching, not criticism.
As now he will hand the ball off. What's the coaching on this one, KJ?
The
but number
little
21,
run,
Isaiah
little
McCulley
bounce
is snuffed up by Herd
I can't
of
really
Lions.
see, John. I got the sticks in front of me, but I watched the replay here. Isaiah does a good job of bouncing it outside. I love this kid. He's really coming to his own the last few weeks.
So now a $1:16 remains now here in the first quarter of play. 2nd and 8 comes up for the London Junior Mustangs, who led this game early with a 45-yard TD strike, only for Cambridge to, respond with a 50-yard plus bomb of their own to Dalton, the big train. As now 3 run to the line. Check that 4. Fonte going to the air. Incomplete pass and almost having a chance to intercept the ball was Nathan Clifford on the play.
Yeah, he throws the ball to the number 2 receiver, and it kind of goes in and out of his hands. Almost gets intercepted, like you said, John. And it's just that wet ball, right? It's tough in the dark night, but the Mustangs last week were able to throw with a lot of success. I think the rain is the determining factor right now for some of these drops. These guys are pretty good receivers. They'll pick it up.
Couldn't really depict on the replay there whether it was the Acapavoca or whether it was Melrose, the intended target.
He was the number 2 guy inside.
As 3 run to the line, another high snap settled down by DJ Fonte for the running back and Isaiah McCulley. McCulley spun around though by the defense near the 45-yard line.
McCulley just short of bringing up 4th down.
As we're in the final minute of play here.
Yeah, and you'd like to see Zicky Abraham had his block, and then a good job by the D lineman for the linebacker for Cambridge getting off that block. Number 36, John, does a good job of making that play, or that could have been a huge run.
So once again, we haven't seen a team bring out their special teams unit on 4th down yet in this game, and it doesn't appear like we are going to see it here with DJ Fonte taking the snap. Fakes the handoff. Fonte with the run. Fonte needs at least 5 yards here, and I don't know if he's going to get it, but yet he broke off of 1 tackle, fights to the 44-yard line.
Fonte keeps his own number.
I still think he's about a yard or 2 shy, and that should be the final play of the first quarter.
That's a great call. You'd like McCulley to finish, like he gets the fake. You see John on the replay here, 21, and he kind of just stands there. Maybe if he would have led DJ, he could have picked the guy up. But again, good effort. But I'll tell you, some good tackling here by the Cambridge Lions on this drive. Number 6 again. And
that's the end of your first quarter.
Third time, John, like you
said,
said, where he saved either a touchdown or a first down for the Mustangs.
7 for your Cambridge Lions.
Brandon Riggin sort of got stunt blocked there by McCauley, but it wasn't enough as it is a turnover on downs. As trying to fight for those extra yards was the quarterback in DJ Fonte, but the DJ couldn't spin a first down hit on this one.
Yeah, right now you're seeing great football kind of decisions. Like they're really,
Are you surprised we haven't seen a punt yet?
No, because last week we didn't see one, so I'm not surprised because I'm not even sure they have a punter, to be honest with you, John.
So we're into the second quarter of play here at Citywide Sports Facility in London, Ontario. Hopefully you're enjoying this Week 5 broadcast of OFL football, as here's a pitch play to Bobby Siogiannis.
Snuffed up.
And another great play on defense by the Junior Mustangs. Getting in there in a hurry once again, Tremont Potter.
He's all over the field, John. I mean, first game back, you want to make an impact, but you're kind of rusty, you think, right? Well, no. He's been out there making plays, and that defensive line for Coach Melrose, he's so happy with them because as a unit, Potter's making the plays, but everybody's doing their job, and they're going to have to get this big running back.
You mentioned, though, for the Lions going 4-0 over this span, they've been blowing teams out of the water. It makes me question, though, how Potter is able to penetrate their offensive line so easily with those numbers that they've put up so far this year. As, again, Jacob Book will hand this one off, and there's nowhere to go. As essentially, for only the second time in this game by my count, they've been able to stop Dalton, who, let's face it, like I mentioned earlier, had that big touchdown gallop of 50 yards with the catch and run. and made a few gray uniforms look like pylons along the way.
Yeah, again, at the point of attack, like, in the front seven, the Mustangs have done pretty good. It's when they get into that secondary, this kid's a load, and that's what the Mustangs have to do. They got to put a body on him and don't let him get into open field.
Now 10:30 remaining here in the first half of play in a 7-7 ball game. The quarterback takes a bit of a low snap, looks to gunsling this over to the left side. Incomplete, trying to find Dalton on the play. So let's face it though, the Lions aren't being secretive about their weapon. They use Dalton's boot, they use him by the air, and they'll use him on the ground.
Yeah.
And I think the Junior Mustangs are starting to pick up on that, Coach, because they're starting to hone in on him. Great defense that time by the Junior Mustangs and Chase Smith to hunt him down.
Yeah, Chase Smith comes from his safety position and just comes right down on the out and does a great job of taking it away, and the throw was just a little bit underthrown. So we got 4th and forever, and I think they're going to kick unless he fakes it. I'm not sure. It is the big man back to kick though, John.
So Dalton, once again, we've seen him run, we've seen him catch, and we've seen him boot the ball away. We haven't seen him punt yet. In fact, this will be the first punt of the ball game with 10 minutes remaining here in the second quarter. This one is a skyrocket down to the 45, caught by number 2 for the Junior Mustangs. He'll be swallowed up here at the 50. But Akpavoka, once again, he was the guy that got the touchdown, and now a healthy punt return to get him back in the Lions territory.
Yeah, Kieran Buckley Akpova is one of those kids who is dynamite. And, the Coach Ron effect is in effect here tonight. He's not here tonight with us. But catch a ball in the air, and you're going to get 20 yards. That's exactly what happens. He gets about 25.
Broke off of the initial tackle attempted by Brandon Riggin. If you watch it here on the screen, catches it beautifully. And watch how he just avoids number 21 right there to get even more yards into the Lions zone. Ball's officially placed on the 50. We got the officials, though, sort of orchestrating here things, for better lack of a word. As now there is 9:50 remaining here in the second quarter of play. And, Coach, maybe you can tell me what's going on right now.
I just think they're getting, I don't know, I'm not sure. I have no idea.
They're getting it right, which is what counts. A high snap once again, settled down by DJ Fonte, sends a laser beam, and a great catch by the Melrose.
Big catch by Junior Mustangs to number 15.
I'll tell you, Cam Melrose is one of those guys this summer.
Down,
every week he got better, every play he got better. He's a great special teams player, great blocker, but now we're seeing the catching part of it, and that time he digs that one out. Earlier, whack ball, you see he's made the adjustment. Great catch there.
And once again on the tackle is Chase Judge on the play. As into the gun goes DJ Fonte. He's got 3 receivers running the line, 2 to his right side. This one's a handoff, though, to McCauley. McCauley breaks off of 1 tackle, smothered by a bunch of red uniforms, and refuses to go down for that matter, but still got the first down.
Yeah, they run a little power action from Greg Wilson, his favorite play, and Bruno DeSando. And the O-line just kind of gets beyond. But this run is really McCauley getting straight up the field, John, and no nonsense. Just get upfield and a huge run and a first down.
Junior Mustangs knocking on the door of the red zone with the ball at their opponent's 23-yard line. Fonte once again going into the gun. We'll have 2 weapons running to the line. Looks like he's going to hand this one off again to McCauley. And for McCauley, though, this time the Lions, well, they roar on defense behind the line of scrimmage.
And they bring the big man. Once again, he comes in on the blitz from the outside and gets a lot of penetration, and he stuffs it. And that's typical with Cambridge. They love to bring pressure. They don't want you to run the football. They pride themselves on their run defense, but that means there's one-on-one matchups in the passing game.
So Nadazi in on the tackle. That's the big man you're referring to in the Lions uniform. Once again, the gun is Fonte. He'll take this snap. A beautiful one by the center. He'll throw this one off the fingertips of the intended target. And Stojakovic is again, I believe that's probably the 3rd time they've tried to target him in this game. Still looking for his first catch of the ball game, though.
Yeah, he kind of threw the ball a little bit behind him, John, and it's tough, right? I think DJ rushed that one a little bit. If he would have just settled himself, I think they would have had a big play.
I know I'm not a quarterback coach, but I'm noticing specifically on the slant routes, he's finding it a little difficult to nail those targets in the chest. However, when he's gunslinging it down the sidelines, he seems to be finding his receivers no problem. Let's see what he does here as he'll be flushed out of the pocket, go for a run. Can he pick up a block? He does get a couple, trying to get to the far sidelines. He'll be crushed down at the 15.
That's a late
and a late hit thrown in there by the Lions. Marco Piccioni. I mean, I think he'll regret that decision as his teammate had already made the tackle in Stephen McDonald and then an unnecessary late hit.
Yeah, Claylo does a good job here. Watch number 9 get the block here for DJ to spring him a little bit outside there. But then a good tackle by 4, and then 40, not needed, and it's going to bring the Mustangs into the red zone, probably about the 2-yard line.
Lucan Clulo had that block you're referring to, and he laid it down on Marco Piccioni, and I'm wondering if Piccioni got upset by that, because essentially 2 seconds later he takes a careless penalty.
And I think it would have been short of a first down, John. It would have brought up a 4th down.
It definitely would have, partner, as the ball's now placed on the 1-yard line with the junior Mustangs threatening to regain the lead. The quarterback, DJ Fonte, right behind the center, takes the snap, hands this ball off, diving to the end zone.
Touchdown,
Junior Mustangs.
Back-to-back weeks, his 2nd touchdown of his career. Lucan Claylo last week had a touchdown reception, and now he gets his first touchdown run. Good for you, Lucan.
Well, you talked about Claylo letting down or making that big block on the previous play. Well, he makes the previous play block that ends up inadvertently putting his team on the 1-yard line thanks to some penalty yards. And he benefits right after with a 1-yard TD strike.
Yeah, you know, John, just a great drive for the Mustangs. And again, Melrose, Fonte, Claylo, they're moving the ball. They're giving it different guys. They're not going to just one guy. Penalties, though, on the extra point.
Extra point is good, but once again, some penalty flags on the play.
14-7 for the Junior Mustangs.
So it's going to count, though. This one will go on the kickoff because the extra point was good. So the Mustangs, I guess, so it doesn't matter. I guess nowadays, if you get a penalty on an extra point, it's assessed no matter what. The London Junior Mustangs would like to thank Beckett Personal Injury Lawyers, dedicated exclusively to personal injury litigation. Their lawyers fiercely advocate for their fair compensation. Beckett has been a long-standing sponsor of the London Junior Mustangs and is very proud of all our players. Go Stangs, go!
Let's go, Mustangs.
7:23 remains here in the second quarter of play, and what is now a 14-7 ball game for the 3-1 London Junior Mustangs, looking for their 4th win of the season against a team that already has 4 wins. They're undefeated in the 4-0 Cambridge Lions. Now, both teams went out on the field, as you saw.
I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah,
lightning?
Interesting
enough.
Oh,
the ambulance is here. That's why, John. So just we do get an update. They did call the ambulance for Caden DeBoer, and our prayers are with him. And they're just going to let the ambulance come in now and kind of do what they got to do.
But for people to understand at home that are watching this and may have just tuned in earlier on a bit of a screenplay offensively by the Cambridge Lions, unfortunately, a junior Mustang, DeBoer, got sort of caught up with his own teammate, nevertheless, at the rear end of the play. And he was down at midfield for about 10 to 15 minutes. His training staff and the coach helped him. He couldn't put any weight whatsoever on his feet. And essentially the paramedics have arrived. So out of respect and safety, both teams go to the respective sidelines, as allows the ambulance to go over to the medical tent where DeBoer is awaiting. And one thing that, I've seen firsthand in football is we've seen scary injuries. I can recall a Western quarterback named Will Finch being hurt in what ended up being the end of his career, essentially, but that had a different flow to it. It was about an hour-long delay. He had already suffered injuries earlier, so there's a very sort of history to the problem. But a lot of the times, too, when you see football injuries, and I mean, in all due respect for DeBoer and what's going on in the field right now, it looks a lot more serious than it is 9 times out of 10. And a lot of the times it's precautionary. A lot of times what it is the paramedics and the safety and the medical staff of both teams are going that extra mile needed to ensure the player's safety. And I can recall several times over the summer, KJ, where we've seen the ambulance involved. And by the time we're even done our broadcast, we turn around and the so-called injured player has already been to the hospital, been looked at, and been released. So there is promise at the end of the day for what you're seeing on the screen if you're just tuning in. And my whole point is that sometimes, and I say most of the time, fingers crossed and knocking on my own noggin here, it looks a lot worse than it is.
Well, Ermina, our head medic, and Kim Stoddard, they pride themselves on the emergency action plan when these things do happen.
Quick announcement.
And you're right,
Mustangs,
John.
parents and families,
You know, it's you got to err on caution. And the great thing that I love is you see how quickly this has happened. The ambulances here, London paramedics, I think, are some of the best in the province, if not in the nation. They really do a good job of taking care of kids, especially injuries in London. I've seen it go both ways. I remember one year, John, you were doing a game on Rogers, Cumberland. There was like 3 guys running ambulances that game, and just great kudos to the people that do these jobs, and a great job like the staff here, managing and getting everything kind of organized.
Well, I remember being at the Football Canada Cup and seeing an individual to my left unfortunately leave the field via stretcher in an ambulance, and my heart was in my throat and in my gut during that moment. And then what do I know? I see the kid practicing the next day on the field. So again, 9 times out of 10, folks, it is just precautionary.
What did he do, John, in the last game? Didn't he win an award?
I was just going to say that anyone player of the game in the final contest for Team Ontario would have gone for the 1-point convert, well down by 1. But that has nothing to do with Mr. Eves.
And that's definitely coaching.
So the ambulance again and the
ironically, that coach tomorrow, Western's going down to play the Windsor Lancers.
That's right, JP
Windsor
Cercelli
is second in the nation in offense. Can you believe that, John? They're 1-4, but their defense has been the struggle this year. And JP's doing his thing on offense. He just got to fix that defense. But the Western Mustangs, Greg Marshall, #1 in the nation. Tough game last week. Great defensive game. I was there, 9-3. Should be a great day in Windsor tomorrow to see those teams match up and old friends reunite and become foes.
Yeah, they say that the offense sells the tickets, and hopefully the Lancers are certainly doing that in the rebuild of their program, but it is the defense that wins you championships, and without a defense, it's going to be awfully hard for JP Cercelli to bring home the first Vanier Cup in the Windsor Lancers program's history. And for Greg Marshall on the other side of the equation, you're talking about a legendary coach that won the Youth Sports Coach of the Year award last year, as well as leading his team to back-to-back national championships, although was on the losing side of the equation last year in Laval against the Rouge et Or.
But the Mustangs defense, John, and they've had some great defenses. We've called some great games over the last couple of years, and I'm really privileged to be a friend of yours and be able to do that. But this defense, they've had injuries. Thurston's out for the year. Panabaker's out for the year. And they're still, that game last week, I'll tell you, they were flawless.
Well, and I got to give a big shout-outs then to Paul Gleason, a volunteer coach of the year numerous times.
Ring of Honor recipient this year?
A little late, if you ask me. Should have been getting it many, many years ago. But I think you could say that for many of the accolades that Paul Gleason deserves, as he's one fantastic coach. And one thing that I know about Paul is talking to his defensive players over close to a decade is how much they respect him and how much the players are willing to put everything on the line for Gleason, because he knows he's the man with the plan. And as long as you follow Paul Gleason's plan, your defense is looking pretty good.
Well, I have had the privilege to be a spoke in that wheel, and I've watched this man coach. He's just a professional. To watch him day in, day out. And I'll tell you, Western losing all these great coaches. Steve Snyder goes to Queens. Bertoya's at Waterloo. JP and his brother go to Windsor. But I'll tell you, they reload. And, you get some great guys in there. The new offensive coordinator, Gaetan Richard, great guy, John. You got Matt Snyder's down there. You've got Chris Marshall coaching on the O-line. You've got some great Guelph head coach who's just doing a great job this year as he's come in and working with the D-line and special teams, and Adam Grandy doing linebackers. It's interesting how Marshall is able to reload, and he's able to bring guys in. And, Gaetan Richard's coming from Nova Scotia, and he's coming here and doing a great job with the Mustang offense.
If you are just joining us on our YouTube broadcast, this is OFL Week 5 action between the 4-0 Cambridge Lions and the 3-1 London Junior Mustangs. And essentially what you have now is a pause and play with 7:22 remaining in the opening half of play in a 14-7 game. The game started, ironically enough, with the first offensive drive of the game coming to fruition on a 4th down touchdown from 45 yards out. Akabavoka struck on that one, and essentially later on in the game, the Cambridge Lions were able to tie it up thanks to their big man in Dalton, 50-plus yard catch and run where he absolutely stiff-armed and made a couple great uniforms look like pylons in the final 10 yards of that major to tie it all up at 7s. And then just recently, a 1-yard dash by Clulo, his first rushing touchdown of this season after picking up a receiving touchdown last week for his first of that affair.
Of his career.
Of his career.
Yeah,
wow.
First two. The last 2 weeks. You know what? You talk about Dalton, and last week we had that kid, Ayman from Scarborough, coming here. I'm telling you, Coach Merrill's has seen probably two of the best Bantam kids I've ever seen. And we had some pretty good guys playing for us this summer. But I'll tell you, those two guys that Coach Merrill's has to match up. And what I love about what he does is his adjustments. And that adjustment on the second and third drive has allowed the Mustangs to take this quick, this early lead.
And if you're wondering, though, and you're just joining us, why is there a pause in play right now? Essentially, when the game was 7-0 for the London Junior Mustangs, with Cambridge's offense on the field, a defensive player in DeBoer was injured. Well, he kind of got tangled up in his feet of his teammate, for better lack of a word, and he was taken to the sidelines on the Junior Mustangs side of the bench and was essentially carried by staff and coaches. And we waited roughly, I would say, about 20 to 30 minutes local time. We got into the second quarter of action, and the ambulance had arrived here at Citi Field. So what they did was essentially pause play with 7:23 remaining on the second quarter clock, allowed the ambulance to come onto the field. And I imagine they're just going through the proper procedures, crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's before taking the Junior Mustang to the hospital for proper protocol.
Yeah, and you know, let's keep our prayers with him. DeBoer's a tough kid. I mean, he was a first-year Bantam this summer, played the whole year at corner, and you know, he really grew, and let's hope he's got a great future. Like I said, it reminds me of last year when Theon Sapp was out here and unfortunately had a severe injury. It was one of the worst I've ever seen. I think DeBoer, you know, they're going to go see what's wrong with him, but I'm really hoping he's going to be okay, John.
And one thing that we talked about at the top of the broadcast that is kind of on everybody's mind because it's literally on the radar is a thunderstorm that's supposed to roll through this area at 9:30 local time. It's currently 8:10 local time, and ironically enough, that's Murphy's Law coach. We talked about it pre-game before we went on the air saying, hey, we need an injury-free contest. Hopefully those zebras keep the penalty flags in their pocket and we get through this contest no problem and we can easily breeze go home. Well, doesn't appear to be the case just yet, although there is still time before the thunderstorm comes into the horizon.
Yeah, and like you said, John, I love the way we kind of prepare for these things, and unfortunately...
Prepare for the worst, but we hope for the best.
We hope for the best. And, you know, with that, the London Junior Mustangs would like to thank our proud corporate sponsors, Beckett Personal Injury Lawyers, Source for Sports, Oxford Learning Centers, King of the Pigs, RS Security, Subaru of London, Budapest Restaurant, Picture Day Photography, Centerfield Sports Facility, Crown Auto Care, Sport Nutrition, McMaster Chevrolet for supporting our great football community, and Battlefield, who has come out and donated this beautiful view that you get tonight. And John, I'll let you take it.
Well, the teams are applauding the paramedics to load the injured player into the ambulance. And it's that image right there that we're actually not going to show you, which I do appreciate, that essentially it looks bad. When you see a kid wrapped up in a blanket, strapped into a paramedic table and having, whether it looks like an IV, I know it's just monitors that they wrap around you to make sure that your vital signs are okay. It looks awfully scary. But essentially, and I hate to put it this way, anything from a broken neck to a stubbed toe is treated essentially the same way as far as precaution and safety is concerned. And sometimes as a broadcaster, you can get caught up in the visions of what you're seeing and thinking, oh man, this is something really serious. But as I've mentioned numerous times, there's literally been occasions like this where by the time we get off the air, we turn around and the injured player is maybe smiling because of influences that the hospital gave them nevertheless, but smiling nevertheless because they've been discharged from hospital and whatever injury they have had has been looked at and they're moving on.
Yeah, and you know, you talk about these delays and how it affects the team. Like, your teammate's gone down, he's got injured. How do you rebound from that? And that's the coaching aspect that has to come to play. And then you got the visiting team coming on the road and driving down here. It extends things. And
I really hate to say it and put it this way, but you really have to as a sports-minded individual. I believe that this extended injury timeout to allow the ambulance onto the field really benefits Cambridge. This is a team that's undefeated, got stunted on the first drive of the game when they were supposed to get the ball. They fumbled it away on the kickoff. The first offensive drive saw their defense go to fourth down, only for them to give up a 4th and country mile play that resulted in a 45-yard TD strike to go down 7-0. They've battled back to make it 7-7, yes, but yet again, their defense sort of let off on the gas pedal a little bit, and now they find themselves down by a major again, and they just got their offense onto the field, and to be honest with you, didn't necessarily look like a well-oiled machine, but now you get this extended break in play if you're the Lions coaching staff to sit down and go, okay, wait a minute. we can use this as a sort of a pre-halftime break with 7:23 left on this clock. How do we tie this game minimally? And how do we eventually, hopefully, get a lead before the halftime break and put the cleat on the other foot against this Junior Mustangs home team?
And not to mention, John, and you talk about the advantage, losing a guy like, number 23 for the Junior Mustangs. He's one of the better defensive players for Coach Melrose. And DeBoer, like I said, so Dalton, like you said, he's kind of got his motors going a little bit. But it'll be interesting to see. This is where the coaching aspect comes in. And, again, our prayers and thoughts are definitely with the DeBoer family. And we know Caden's a tough kid. And we hope if we get any information, we'll pass it your way.
And the early premonitions that we've gotten from people is that this is all strictly precautionary, that the injury isn't something that he expects to be taking him out of the sport long term. And more importantly, like I was mentioning at the beginning of it when we saw the original injury, is that this is fall football. Yes, it's Friday night, so regardless, let this kid enjoy his weekend. He's got class Monday morning.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing, you play this game and there's definite risk. But again, great job by the Mustang and Myrna, the Mustang staff, Kim Stoddard, and the crew here, kind of managing all this. And again, this is one of the shortest delays I've been around, John, because the ambulance got here and looks like they're ready to go. Talking to you, John, about one of the things I was to go back to that Western Windsor till Kevin McNeil was the Guelph head coach. He's now the recruiting coordinator with the Western Mustangs and coaching special teams. And that's the other thing I was going to talk to you about was special teams. And we haven't seen it tonight. No punters. You've been asking where the punt. One punt, and that was a pretty good punt actually, but
very
a great return by Akropova. So we'll see how the special teams play. I think that's what's going to come down in this ball game, John, is who uses the special teams and who executes on special teams. I think is going to be the team that wins this game.
So the ambulance is driving off the field. And I imagine with us just being off of Commissioner's Road that they're going to take the easy trip down to Vic Hospital, which is just a couple blocks away. And we will get back into the action here.
We'll resume the ball game shortly. Just a quick update.
So once again,
7:23 in the second quarter.
14-7 ball game
14,
for the London
Cambridge
Junior
Lions,
Mustangs
7.
over the undefeated Cambridge Lions. It's KJ Academy and yours truly, Johnny Urban. Happy to take you through this OFL action live on YouTube, as we've been doing pretty much all season long. Coach, you called the game last week with Ron, and it was a bit of a blowout from my understanding.
It was crazy. It was like either 53-38, I think was the final score. It was like a track meet. This game started out that way, but obviously the delay is kind of put us behind. There's still 7:29 to go in the second quarter, though.
Now, what I'm noticing, though, is they're rebooting it. They did the boot earlier, then the ambulance came. And yet, for whatever reason, we've actually technically gone back a play because they're resetting the ball at 50.
I'm not sure. Yeah, that's weird.
So, regardless, here we go with 7:23 remaining in the second quarter of play after having the paramedics come onto the field here at Citywide. We're ready to get back into Week 5 action. The ball is booted to the near sidelines, trying to get tricky with it. Are the Junior Mustangs? The ball came loose a little bit. It did, and the gray uniforms have it.
Ball
81.
An
Ball's recovered by
incredible
the Junior
play.
Mustangs. First down, Junior Mustangs, about the 43-yard line.
Look at this kick, John. It's the high. Chase Smith comes in. He dislodges the ball. Number 81 comes in, and then I think 81 got it, John. What a play.
It's Zachary Nichols that recovers it. Unfortunately for the Lions kick returner, though, he just bobbled it enough, and then when he went to go recover the ball, and Stephen McDonald, he got hurt. And man, oh man, this would be troubling if we have another injured player to the extent that we would need the paramedics to come back to Citi Field.
Yeah, and I don't think it's that serious, John. I mean, he just took a shot to the shoulder. Yeah, that's got a sting.
Maybe we can see it one more time on the replay, though, Coach. What's troubling, though, is what's happening is after he fumbles the ball, he's going low, and the hit's coming in.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily the shoulder contact I'm worried about, is his head when he's rotating around and hitting the turf. And as you watch it one more time here.
I watched Chase here.
It's a clean hit, but it's the way he turns.
Yeah,
that's my concern on the play, unfortunately.
Now, was there a penalty? Because for some reason they've marched the Mustangs. Maybe because it's the injury. I'm not sure. It was offside on the Junior Mustangs.
So the London Junior Mustangs were offside, and maybe that was in. And it goes back to what I was saying. He had no time. By the time he fumbles that ball and looks down to try and pick up the pigskin, he's got to worry about the contact coming in from number 10.
Chase Smith.
And unfortunately for, Chase Smith, I know he doesn't mean to injure the player, but it's the way the attack came in that unfortunately for Stephen McDonald sort of span. And I hope it's not a head injury. I hope you're right, KJ, that it's just sort of up in the shoulder area.
I think you were right, John. I saw it when you caught that. That's a great job of catching that. So let's, as Armina comes back out to help the Cambridge Lions medical staff. And, John, that brings me to this. King of Pigs, one of our new sponsors, our jersey sponsor. Rui, you enjoyed some great King of Pigs this year, John. We had 2 occasions and the banquet, John. And talk about that food. I think you really enjoyed King of Pigs being a new sponsor.
I love all the sponsors that we have and all the products they bring us to try out, especially this nice boom that we have here at Citywide to give you these incredible camera angles that you're seeing during this broadcast.
Rentals, yeah.
I do have a bone to pick with you. You've invited me for Hot Italian several times and not taken me yet, so we have to...
Hot Italian? I've taken you many
No. I mean, like, you say, hey, we're going to Hot Italian next Wednesday, and then it doesn't happen. So I've been very hungry for Hot Italian.
It's tough, John, when you got 3, you got CCH, Western Mustang.
You forgot about the most important job of all, and that's John Urban.
Yeah, well, you know what? I know Mike Valenza would love to take you out and talk about some special news that's going to be announced probably on our next broadcast as the Mustangs continue in the football community. Not of the tackle variety. I'll just kind of leave it at that, but there's some big news coming in the near future. So the Mustangs, once again, you just hope this kid's okay. And
well, we already saw an extended pause in play in the first quarter for the injured Caden DeBoer. And now we're seeing, unfortunately, an extended injury timeout for Stephen McDonald. And to be honest with you, KJ, a little bit lost for words at this point, because what can I say for this injury that I didn't already say for the last injury? It's something we don't want to see, number one. You hate to see it no matter what the uniform color is. And I think something that I just thought of at the beginning of the broadcast, and all of a sudden it's coming to fruition, is the fact that if you do get a couple injury breaks like this, and a couple long-standing penalties, and a couple long breaks, as the crowd does applaud him to get to his feet, what I like about this, though, KJ, is that he's on his own accord, and he's walking to the sidelines under his own feet, so that's something we didn't see from the Junior Mustang earlier. But again, you keep getting injuries like this. There is weather coming inevitably down the pipe into the Forest City, expected around 9:30 local time, as we're around 8:22 local time right now here in London. So
a rule, you have to get 3 quarters in. So if the 3 quarters were in before then that would be the final score. So we'll have to see what happens, John. Let's hope that Mother Nature and God kind of cooperates and doesn't allow us to have those delays.
So after the offside, the ball is placed at the 45-yard line, and rebooting this one all the way for the Junior Mustangs will be Jed Trupish.
Folks, let's hear the cheers for your Junior Mustangs as we look to kick off.
As the PA announcer, Mr. Eves, wants the crowd to get loud, and they oblige, as now the ball will be approached at the 45, and the red and golden bucket uniforms of the Cambridge Lions await to try and tie this ball game down by 7. Trupish gets all of this one. It is received down near the 25-yard line by the Lions, and that is Bobby Siogiannis trying to get down.
Took a dump penalty.
And then, unfortunately, a late hit draws the penalty flag, and Cambridge is going to get more yards.
It's just a good tackle, and just be good with it. I don't know if we can get the full replay right to the end, and then he shoves him, and that's a 15-yard penalty, and Chase has got to get control of that because great coverage, and now you give him 15 yards.
Maybe a little extra beef there with a former teammate, Coach Jay.
Yeah, Chase is he's an undersized safety, but he's a tough kid, and he can make every play that you want from your safety. Just got to tone it down a little bit there.
Well, I'll repeat an expression you told me many moons ago. You got to go with the engine that God gave you. Yeah. And it's that same engine, that same ferocity that got him to the tackle originally. But like you mentioned, once you make the play, you got to learn to let it go.
Yeah, you just got to know the line. And Chase is a great young player. Again, a great tackle, and unfortunately, a great field position for Cambridge Lions.
Puts the ball back at the 50-yard line, still on the Lions side of the turf. With 2 running the line, the Junior Mustangs jump, but this ball's all the way back after a bad snap. But
high snap.
How does that work? Because the Junior Mustangs took a penalty.
So they went offside. They got in the neutral zone. And
so they're free 5 yards anyway.
Yeah, it's free 5 yards, and it'll be 1st and 5 here for the Lions. And so 20 yards of penalties last 2 plays for the Mustangs. And this would have been a huge defensive play for the Mustangs had they did not went offside. And again, good job of Cambridge on the stutter.
Offside on the...
For the Lions, though, I'll say they don't seem to be getting the breaks there because, let's face it, that's a free play. They could do some damage on it. Instead, it's a bad snap, and they'll be happy to take the free 5 yards nevertheless, but still, Those are the types of plays where you'd like to do a little damage and see whether you can decline the penalty.
Absolutely.
Ball in the most Canadian position of the field at the 55-yard line. Snap to Jacob Book. Book's going to fire this one to the left side. Ball's caught at the 50. Great tackling by the Junior Mustangs. As getting in on the action will be Zachary Nichols in on the hit.
Number 18, actually, John. I'm not sure. Nichols is 81, but 18 drives in. And
that's Simon Cantor in on the hit.
Great throw, though. I love the hook concept. And Cambridge trying to find their passing game. That's the first time they went to someone other than Dalton.
As we see once again on the replay, Jacob Book just able to fire this one to the far side. And again, just not able to catch that number of the receiver that time for the Lions.
I think it was Judd.
It'll be Book getting tackled about 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Big sack for the Junior Mustangs, about 10 yards behind the line of
Kirchhoff's a guy, he's like the weather. He just brought the lightning there, and that's the thing. Watch this pressure he comes, and just a great textbook tackle. I got to tell you, John, this kid is dynamite. Maybe we'll get that replay again, John. I'll tell you, look at him come in there and make that tackle. Beautiful.
And I like how he safely hit the quarterback, too. Didn't try and go high. Wrapped up his arms, too, trying to get that pigskin to come loose. It didn't happen, but it still goes down as a massive sack for Crucio. And a big second play coming up for the Lions. 2 run to the line. The quarterback hands this ball off. The ball comes loose. It's laying on the turf. Who's got it?
Big play by the Junior Mustangs.
As the officials separate the pile of humanity, and it appears like a Lion.
Looks like it's going to be third down.
62 from the Lions picked it up, Johnny.
That's Aiden Conway. Right place, right time as Conway.
Watch Kirchhoff strip him. What a play by Kirchhoff, man.
And unfortunately, there is a Lion now down at the 50-yard line here with 4:59 remaining in the second quarter of play.
So Potter with the pressure, and then Kirchhoff comes in with the strip. And like I said, John, a textbook tackle. And like you said, the first tackle was a very textbook-like tackle, not trying to injure a guy. And the new rules, you got to tackle that way. And then you see it pay off here as he strips the football. And but the great job by 62 for the Lions.
Trying to break through the line originally was Bobby Giannis, but what was interesting there was like he just got clipped right here. And it looked like he was just in the midst of recovering, and he had to deal with another 3 Junior Mustangs, and that's what popped the ball loose.
I love this swarm in defense. There's Kirchhoff's brother handing out the water. He's a CCH running back and played for our Bantam team this summer that fell to a great Ottawa team by a point in one of the great championship games that we had at TD Stadium this past summer that you called, John, and you had did a great job. And I still haven't watched that game, John. I'm not sure. I think Melrose and I are going to watch it in December sometime. With a few pops, and maybe you'll be there with us, and then I'll give you crap for.
Why don't you watch I'd rather watch the Dolphins game for a team that finished the season below 500, and even if you added their playoff wins, would still have a below 500 record and won the championship. I want to be a part of that league. Sign me up.
Yeah, that's an interesting situation that happened there. A very talented team from Durham. They had probably one of the best players that weekend. That quarterback, I can't remember his name, John.
Park.
He was pretty darn good, and I know he's being sought off by a lot of schools. And then we saw the Essex Ravens win a championship. Coach Glenn Mills on our turf. We don't like that, but congrats to him. And a lot of great football. So let's see his number.
It's Bobby Giannis, the running back. Again, he's the man that was stripped and then while trying to recover the ball.
Former Junior Mustang, and then led us to 3, was part of that 3 championship team that Bruno DeSando
and they're really attending to that left arm. It looks like it might be an upper arm if shoulder injury there, and that's awfully bad because not only is he a weapon that is used sort of as either a blocking tool for Dalton or a distraction tool for Dalton by giving him the ball, but like you mentioned, a bit of a Swiss Army knife with London Junior Mustangs ties last season. As this ball once again is snapped from Book, he looked to give it fake left, gave it to the right though, threw the ball to the near side, ball is caught. And they will make up the penalty yards, but still be down by about, we'll say 8 yards of a first down. That's the Deus McDonald.
Cambridge Lions at the
nice catch by 5, and McDonald, good wherewithal to get up the field, and it'll bring up a 4th and 7, John. And look for Dalton. He hasn't touched the ball in a few plays here, so we'll see if they try to get him the ball on 4th down.
Kevin Constantine in on the tackle for the Junior Mustangs. 4:15 remains here in the second quarter of play in Week 5 OFL action between the undefeated Cambridge Lions, who trailed the 3-1 London Junior Mustangs by a score of 14-7. In the process, Jacob Book, their quarterback, with 1, make that 2, run to the line. He's going to throw this immediately to the far side. The ball's up in the air. That should be an incomplete pass, and it'll be a turnover on downs. London ball.
I'm just trying to understand. Like, Dalton didn't touch. I think he might have touched the ball once in that series. I don't think he did.
At the 53-yard line.
You throw a screen pass on 4th and 8, and the Mustangs do a great job of covering it. Great job. Again, what I've seen tonight is great film work by both defensive coordinators.
It's almost like they tried to use Dalton, though, as the lead block on that play, but he never got to the block in time, and plus, the ball never really got delivered in time because the receiver bobbled it in his hands.
Yeah, just interesting. Again, the delay, and this is what happens in the delay. The offenses tend to struggle their first time out. We'll see what the Mustangs do here.
So we've seen turnovers, yes, a couple of fumbles, no interceptions just yet, but the most times we've seen the ball turned over has been on 4th down, as the Junior Mustangs go on to a run play here, and they'll be lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage for no gain.
By number 21,
once again, you just see the Cambridge line. Number 62 who recovered that fumble a few plays ago. He does a great job of getting off his block and making that tackle on McCauley.
14-7 for the Junior Mustangs here in the first half of play. 3:18 remains on the citywide clock here. KJ Kedemy and yours truly, Johnny Urban, happy to take you through this OFL action. It's a Friday night fight under the citywide lights. And we're happy to bring it to you live on YouTube. As it is, DJ Fonte taking the snap, rolling back in the pocket, going to fire to the near side, out of the outstretched arms of the intended target that time, and Rowan Pierce.
Yeah, Pierce on the slant route. It's like a little switch concept with the wheel to Melrose, and just got to make that play. That's a good throw, and again, it's the slants like you said, but this time DJ does a good job. He puts it in the right spot and just a little bit overshot him.
See, it sounds funny, though, because you see Melrose shooting down the near sidelines on that arrow route.
Yeah, that wheel looked
That's
wide
exactly
open.
what I'm talking about, though. He's been able to bomb it to those receivers, no problem, and lay it right in the breadbasket where you want it. It's those little slant routes that seem to be missing the mark. Let's see what he does here. DJ Fonte on the play action. He's going to keep onto the ball. Avoids one tackle, sidesteps another, fights his way to midfield. He'll be shy of the first down by about 4 or 5 yards, and a 4th down coming up yet again.
Yeah, so you kind of get like a counteraction. He fakes the run and then keeps it. 2 pullers that time. It's a nice play though, John, because they do get about 8 yards, and it brings up 4th and manageable.
Zeke Abraham, number 53, the big lineman, rumbling up the field with his quarterback, trying to give him a bit of a bubble protection as he goes up.
Yeah, and Orion, Anton, John, those 2 guys are loads. That's all I can say, Johnny.
So a big 4th down play coming up here from their own 49-yard line. The Silver Buckets on the offense against the Golden Buckets on the defense, and the Lions. A high snap settled down by Fonte. Has to get rid of it quickly. Ball is caught, but can he get to the first down marker? He can't. It'll be a turnover on downs again, as catching the ball was Clulo. But Clulo was, short. Low on the yardage needed.
Great tackle by number 4 who got injured earlier, John, on that kickoff. And glad to see him that he's okay, because he actually saved the first down there.
Man, this is truly 4-quarter football, though, or 4 down football, I should say. Maybe you could call it 5-down football, because neither team wants to go for a punt on the 4th down occasion.
Well, and the great thing is for Bantam football on a Friday night, the ball's in the air. And you love to see that. And but again, Dalton's the guy that you got to think Cambridge is coming to him right now.
We had some rain pre-game, and we've had some sprinkles in the first quarter, but the rain has subsided and stayed away here in the second quarter for the most part. 2 run to the line. Looks like they're going to hand this one off to the big man, but the big man is swallowed up by not 1, not 2, but 3 Junior Mustangs. And to be honest with you, Jay, probably takes 3 to bring that big man down.
Yeah, Potter, Nichols, and of course Kircho, and just a great job of team defense. And you know what, like I said, the adjustment that Coach Miles has seen is he's bringing some different pressures that is confusing the O-line of the game.
But you mentioned it earlier, though, if Dalton can get a block, get up the field, that's when he becomes almost impossible to slow down. Like a freight train, once he's at full speed, good luck stopping him.
Absolutely.
So into the gun goes Jacob Book. He's got 3 running the line. Check that. 4 to the right side. Going to hand this ball off on a sweep. Is he going to continue to run? It is staggering and then smothered down to the turf. Great tackle by the Junior Mustangs and Chase Smith. But there is a flag on the play.
It's going to be holding there. You see it there. Potter gets absolutely held.
Yeah, 40.
We'll get the replay again. But Kircho actually slows the jet sweep down. and then Chase Smith comes in and cleans it up. Great tackle in the open field.
Yeah, you can shove your opponent down to the ground, but you can't jersey tag them down to the ground.
Isn't that the fight you're going tomorrow night? Mo Avazzini and Sue Avazzini put on the big fights going on tomorrow night. Talk about that, Johnny.
There is a big, exciting thing coming to the Forest City tomorrow evening, and it's all for a great cause too, KJ Ketamine, and I think that's the big thing that we're missing out on, as it will be at the Western Agriplex. Knockout Kidney Disease. It'll be PFC number 11. If you like some fights, well, there's no better place to go check them out, as it will be the prospect fighting taking place at the Western Agriculture Complex.
That hold is something you might see in a grappling situation.
Yeah, a little bit of a guillotine attempt there. Yeah, that could be. And we will see hopefully plenty of great jiu-jitsu, wrestling, Greco-Roman wrestling, as well as some good old-fashioned brawlers tomorrow night here in the Forest City. All for a great cause, as I mentioned, trying to knock out kidney disease.
One of the things we've seen tonight, though, John, are a lot of 3rd and 4th and longs. I mean, it's been kind of a constant here, and we'll see what Cambridge does here.
Defense have been doing an incredible job through the first 3, if not 4 downs, but it seems on that final play, whether it's 4th and a country mile, 4th and 45 yards, like we saw in the first touchdown of this game, all of a sudden, at the worst times is when the defense is slipping up.
Yeah, and, Dalton's been one of the guys, Chase Judd. Those are the guys they're looking for. So it is 4th down, John. They do change it, and it's 4th down and long because the penalty, John, was it's like considered a UR, and so it doesn't. They don't gain the down back.
So once again, if you're in the Forest City area tomorrow evening and you enjoy a bit of the rough stuff, why not check out Prospect Fighting Championships? Knockout Kidney Disease for a good cause while you're doing it. It all takes place tomorrow night, Saturday, September 28th, 8:45 Florence Street here in the Forest City. And once again, that's at the Western Fair Agriplex. So I like a good fight, regardless of whether it's for a good cause or not. But you throw in a good cause on top of it, KJ, I want to see some blood here in London.
I got a good friend of mine, Cyril Berry from Cambridge, and we know the Cambridge fans are locking in. Cyril, how you doing, Boston? I know you're off to a good start, and wish you all the best. And he's kind of giving me some insight, saying we're doing a good job. And Cyril's a great football guy. He's been around Cambridge Lions forever.
Well,
was the president at one point.
One thing I'll say, it's a little difficult as a broadcaster, is you're used to the summer league and getting all the juicy stats, knowing what the quarterback is throwing, how many rushing yards, it'd be nice if a parent, if you're listening out there, keep a little stats on the side. Like, come up to us in the booth. We'd love to give some more insight to your kids on the air.
And with that note, I also would like to say to my good friend and coaching colleague, Stephen Paul, he's not coaching this fall. He did last fall. I hope you're doing all right. Just one of the great coaches that you get to experience in the OPFL.
Yeah, Coach Paul, Coach, slipping my mind here, Coach Mills. I heard that Coach Ketamine guy's an all right individual too.
Okay. There's some definite rivalries. Bill Martindale's back with the Cambridge Lions, and that's great to hear. He was the president of the OPFL the first year, 2 years of the inception. Vice president, stepped down for a year, and he's now back with the Lions, and that's great because he's a good man.
So a big 4th down play coming up here with $1:50 left on the clock here on 2nd down, as they've switched it back to 3rd down. 3 run to the line. Jacob Book with pressure coming, throws the ball deep. This one is, what is going on?
No,
incomplete pass after the defender juggled it. Then the offensive player ripped it back into his possession. That was a tug of war with the ball.
Number 18, Cantor.
Oh my word, the Butterfingers.
Super Bowl. That looked like a Super Bowl play. Julian Edelman, as Judd almost made the play. What a wheel route that Judd ran. What a great throw here. But an excellent defensive play by Cantor.
For all the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia fans, that looked like a rum ham.
Folks, let's cheer on your junior
Machado actually came in at the end.
Get this ball back.
You think the play's over, and that's what you love about Machado, is he comes in at the end. And at the end, when he's not expected to, and he actually knocks it out, because Judd almost made that play.
Somehow, some way, he battled back for the ball on his keister and was trying to re-grasp it back into his claws. And a great punt here from Dalton will be handled eventually by the kick returner from the junior Mustangs. He received a block by Melrose to be able to get up to the 30 or make that 40-yard line.
Yeah, Stashwick, the ball kind of was like a knuckleball. And you're a baseball guy. You know how hard it is to knuckleball. And Stashwick does a good job of picking it up and getting about a 4 or 5 yard return.
I think the biggest thing for Coach Ron, who I know is probably watching in at home right now, though, like you mentioned, Catch that ball in the air and you're guaranteed some yards.
And that happened on the 40-yard line. You know what happened to Ron on the 40-yard line this year with the Junior Mustangs, and we won't talk about that. I know you're a volunteer, Coach Ron. Voice of an angel, we love you.
That's the offense for the London Junior Mustangs. Goes back onto the turf here with 88 seconds left on the second half clock. This is a run play, but it's not going anywhere. Great penetration by the Lions defense.
Number 92, John, is having himself one whale of a ball game. And, man, what a job of penetrating and great play by 92.
Yeah, we've said Nadazdi's name a couple times throughout this broadcast already, and we'll repeat it there, as once again, it is Thomas Nadazdi in on the action. The Lion that is truly roaring the loudest right now on the defense.
If you love defensive line play, this is where to be on this Friday night, because we're seeing some great defensive line play on both sides of the ball.
Second down for the Junior Mustangs, with the clock being their best friend right now. As the quarterback will whip it to the near side, almost picked off by the Lions. And to be honest with you, if Bobby Giannis grabs that ball, not only will he have open real estate to get a potential pick six, but you're talking about a kid that was just injured a couple drives ago, and we didn't even know he'd be back in this game, making a big defensive play and almost having the interception.
Yeah, number 88, Rowan Pierce, the first-year Bantam player, what is a stalwart in those championship runs the last 3 years. Being in the second year, just got to run a little bit harder, but again, another injury, John, it looks like.
One of the linemen for the Junior Mustangs appears to be having trouble to get...
DeSando, the center.
Yeah, Giovanni DeSando is now appearing to be able to not get up on his accord right away.
So the backup center for the London Junior Mustangs is no other than... I'm just trying to find it here for you, Johnny. He's a good kid. He's...
Hunt.
Yeah, Hunt. He's a great kid, and his mom's one of our game day coordinator, and so... Hunt, pretty good accomplished kid, and he'll come in, and that's the great thing about the Mustangs. Greg Wilson was an old lineman, so he'll have his twos ready to play.
So no matter what, even if he is available to play, the coach's son of DeSando will still have to wait out about 3 plays.
Yeah, he'll be out for 3, and unless they burn a timeout, but even still, that would take it down to 2. So,
and given the time on the clock with $1:04 remaining here before halftime, it would probably just be the safe bet to keep him onto the sidelines to the second half of action regardless.
Yeah, I think so, and I think what you want to do now is, if you're the Mustangs, you probably want to be smart with the football. Maybe try to get, force Cambridge to take their last timeout and
go into that halftime break with the lead.
Actually, the timeouts in the OFL are a little bit different. You get 4 per game. You can take them at any point. So it'll be interesting. This is where the chess match begins, because do you want? Me personally, run the football and see if they burn a couple and leaves them 2 less later on in the game. That's what I would be doing. But Coach Craig has been throwing the football on Friday night, so we'll have to see what happens.
So,
the new center, it'll be interesting.
Getting to his own feet right now is the centering Giovanni DeSando, and he appears to be okay as he is walking to the bench on his own accord, which is a good sign, as we saw the injured Lion do the same thing earlier today, and Bobby Giannis as.
Yeah, Chiliganis is a tough kid. He's back in the ball game, like you said, John. And, it's like you said, it's a physical game, right?
So fans are wanting a $1:24 on the clock. I don't think they're going to get it, though. There's a $1:02 left in this contest, and now it's dripping down as we're under 5 minutes remaining here in this second quarter. DJ Fonte flushed out of the pocket, hit as he threw, and they're going to call a penalty on that.
That's a great call.
DJ Fonte
hit him
rolls
in the head,
out.
John.
It's big hit
Can't
number
do that.
32. There's
Can't
flags.
do that.
Yeah,
Slaps him right in the
would,
head. You can't do that, John.
I don't know. I would
Can't
disagree with that.
No, that's the call.
He's not aiming for the head there, KJ.
Yes, he is. He gets him right in the head.
Absolutely not.
He gets him right in the head. It doesn't matter where you're aiming. If you hit him in the head, and especially a quarterback, that's the call. That's a great call.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That's the stuff that makes NFL fans angry. He's flushed out of the pocket, quarterback's mobile, and he's trying to run well.
He's trying to throw the ball, John. He's not trying to run. He's trying to throw the
first
wheel
down.
out.
What's he doing right there?
He's trying to throw the football.
57-yard line.
He's well out of the throwing pocket.
He's sprinting. It's a sprint out pass. You don't tackle the head. That's the rule.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that, KJ. But what I'm trying to say, though, is the defensive player is going to swat the ball because he's throwing on the run.
You're right. He went for the swat, but I'm just saying the hand actually hit him in the head.
No, right,
I know what you're saying.
I'm not
it's a
saying
tough call.
It's not malicious, and I would say the defensive player, like I said, there's no intent there.
No.
But there is times where that should be a 15-yarder because there is intent. The quarterback throws this one deep. Melrose, the intended target. And
21
right
seconds
on
left on the
Melrose
clock.
is
That'll
back
be
like
second
white
and
on
10,
rice, though, is
Junior
Stephen
Mustangs.
McDonald. That's also a good sign because McDonald was the player that was originally hurt for the Lions in this game. And we thought that maybe he would be gone for the rest of this contest. He's back in the thread.
I don't know if we get the replay. Watch Claylo take this block. He gets absolutely destroyed, but a good job of hanging in there and giving his quarterback an opportunity to throw the ball. Cambridge bringing lots of pressure, John. And that, of course, with the backup center, that's what you're going to do, right? I think Gio could come in the next play.
41 seconds remains on the second quarter clock. At midfield, the Junior Mustangs send 3 to the line. Looks like this is an offside. I mean, if you were playing NFL Blitz, that would be a great play by the line that broke through the line and Marco Piccioni. But Piccioni, unfortunately, well, went before the center and snapped the ball.
This game's turning into a physical affair, and like I said, it's been the D lines. And that time, Orion and Town John, lucky he didn't get a penalty, but a good block there as he was, protecting his quarterback. So we'll see what happens here. Do they bring, like you said, do they keep Gio on the bench or do they bring him back in? Hunt's done a good job on the last 3 snaps, but the pressure has been relentless.
Second down play now for the guys in gray with 38 seconds left on the clock with a 7-point lead here from Citywide Sports Facility. Once again, trying to get the defense to jump is DJ Fonte and the gang. They don't do it. Do they audible into something different here? As once again, 2 will run to the line. DJ Fonte protected in the pocket, throws it near side. That ball is intercepted by the Lions. Bobby Giannis trying to go for the pick 6. Past the 30. Cuts in at the 20, tackled before he can get to the end zone. But the Lions have an opportunity here, KJ, to tie the game in the final seconds of the second half. And as the Yogi Bear would say, the late great Yankees catcher, deja vu all over again. You saw something similar to this in the championship dance.
You called this, John. You actually called this play, and DJ Fonte actually saves a touchdown. And this is going to be interesting here as it does give the Lions with 28 seconds an opportunity to tie the ball game.
And I hate to point fingers here, but I really feel like if Rowan Pierce continued on his route, even if he makes contact with the Lion, he might draw a penalty out of that affair and not the interception. As they go back to Bobby T. No, it's a play action. The ball is caught. Dalton with space, 5, end zone, touchdown, Lions.
Touchdown, Cambridge Lions.
John, that's just a good job of getting the ball to your big guy in an important moment, and just great blocking downfield. Watch the Cambridge receivers, John, as they do a great number 21 with a great block to spring them open on number 24, Machado.
Dalton's second touchdown of the game. He's now got over 80 yards received, 2 touchdowns. You mentioned the great block by number 21. That's a 21-yard TD too, ironically enough, as the ball is snapped. The kick is through, and we're now tied up at 14-all with 21 seconds remaining in the second quarter.
You've been prophetic, John. You said that pick was kind of looking like it might, and it did.
But you mentioned it too. Playing smart in the final minute of play to ensure that doesn't happen, because let's face it, this is an undefeated Cambridge team that for the majority of 2019 has been blowing teams out of the water. You have a major lead on them, albeit 14-7, and essentially you throw it away with the interception all the way to your own 20-yard line.
But I've been there, John. You're trying to make plays, and I remember, like you said, the championship game, same thing happened. Now, we didn't want him to throw where he threw it, but you can't control what happens, and unfortunately, it's like deja vu.
Now, Coach, when I say deja vu all over again, I mean you're up 14-7. You're in the final minute of the first half. DJ Fonte, the quarterback, threw an interception. After that interception, the other team scored a major. Every single part of that equation is exactly how Yogi Berra would describe deja vu.
In that game, we should have just ran the football. That call was on me, not on DJ.
You could make the argument, though, like we were talking about in this final minute, not that it's DJ's fault, mind you, but running the offense would probably be a better concept in the final, knowing that your defense has really stymied Cambridge up until that point anyway. So Dalton, who's done the damage with 2 touchdowns, kicks this one away. Number 10 receives it back near his 20-yard line, and trying to stutter up the field now is Chase Smith. And ironically, sort of like a Le'Veon Bell style, he just stepped his way up all the way close to the 47-yard line.
And Jason Smith, Chase's dad, the equipment manager for the Junior Mustangs, they love football. And they just have good football IQ. Look at that. Nice little jab, follows his blocks, and does a good job. And a great return by Chase Smith there.
Only 13 seconds left before halftime, though. Do you just take a knee here, Coach, or run the ball?
Well, it depends. Are you healthy? There's a lot of guys, second teamers. Not that you can't play with those guys, but I think you try to take your chances in the second half. You don't want to risk anything here. Although if you have a play that you think you can, get a touchdown, I guess you run it. But
a little hook and ladder or something funky. You never really seen
They're missing a receiver. The Mustangs are missing a receiver right now.
As Melrose is
the formation is illegal.
So the Melrose is the lone target to the near side. They eventually rotate somebody over. The flag is thrown as soon as the play is reeled in. And this one is intercepted too by the Cambridge Lions. They're going back the other way with it, and he's got real estate to go the way. 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Lions. Is that Jacob Book, the quarterback on the defense, number 10? It is number 6. I apologize. That's Chase Judge. All rise. The judge is in session.
Yeah, Chase Judge, one of the best Bantam players in the secondary and receiver in the province. Had a pleasure of coaching him last year on an all-star team.
Flag is on the Junior Mustangs. That results in a Cambridge
touchdown. Makes no mistake of it. The worst part about that, though, was that they didn't have enough men on the field, so where he returned it, there was a guy missing, and unfortunately a touchdown. And
penalty
if you're a Lions fan,
penalty is naturally declined by Cambridge. It results in their a pick 6 touchdown by Chase Judge. Back-to-back interceptions thrown by the London quarterback in DJ Fonte in the final minute of this second quarter. The Junior Mustangs had a 14-7 lead.
28 seconds left.
And now they trail 21-14 as they head into the halftime break. 21. What a momentum swing in the final minute of play.
Well, that's the great thing about youth football is that, the coaches, you're going to make these mistakes, and it's how you rebound from it, and I'm sure the coaches will kind of take a look at because as much as we call the interceptions thrown by, really, like you said, John, sure ran the football and maybe lived up to play 14-all, at least 14-7, but now it's 14-all. So, the coaches they'll adjust, and it's a great football game. Friday night football, what a ball game so far, Johnny.
Wow, though, I just can't imagine, though, any team with a 14-7 lead going down 21-14 when you had the lead with 60 seconds left. That is astonishing. And yes, that's the type of things you're going to see here on YouTube on your Friday night here in Week 5 of OFL action as we head off to the halftime break. Welcome back to Citywide Sports Facility here in the Forest City
as we
for
start the
Week
half,
5
Junior Mustang
OFL
14,
action between the undefeated Cambridge Lions at 4-0 and your 3-1 London Junior Mustangs. Give you a bit of a recap from the first half of action. It was the London Junior Mustangs on their first offensive drive of the game, striking first on a 4th down, 45-yard TD strike to Akabavoka, who apparently is injured here in the second half of action. We'll keep a note on that. Then later on in the game, it was the Dalton Big Man show of the Cambridge Lions, rumbling from 50-plus yards out to tie this game up 7-7. Eventually, Clulo, with his first rushing touchdown of the season, made a 14-7 contest for the Junior Mustangs. With roughly a minute left, though, the lead imploded. 2 straight DJ Fonte interceptions led to 2 straight Cambridge Lions touchdowns, one from Dalton for his second of the game, and then a pick 6 from a familiar foe, or familiar face, I should say, in Bobby Sealgianis, as this kickoff will actually bounce out of bounds from Dalton, and it'll be a penalty against the Lions to start off the second half of play. But if you followed along with the first half recap, at the end of the day, the Lions, the undefeated Lions, are roaring with a 7-point lead, despite the fact that they were the ones trailing by 7, Coach KJ Kedemy, in the final minute of the second quarter.
Yeah, ebbs and flows, man. I'll tell you, it's managing the game, and every now and then as coaches, I mean, I've been there. You think you see something, and you kind of forget about the chart. And when do you run the football? How do you run the clock out? Do you make teams expose their timeouts, especially when the timeouts carry over? Unfortunately, the Mustangs have their work cut out, but you know what? Great football game, and we'll see with the adjustments with Akapova and DeBoer out for the game.
So the Junior Mustangs offense goes onto the field here, as they will snap the ball to DJ Fonte, rolls back in the pocket, throws it on the near side, caught by Isaiah McCauley. McCauley catches it, has the first down and more, has some blocks up the field, past the 50, past the 45, and eventually dropped down to the turf at the 40-yard line. An incredible gain of, I believe, at least 33 yards.
Yeah, just a great design play where they roll DJ out, they dump the screen out, and McCauley doing a great job, and Ryan 67 downfield blocking a little DB. That doesn't seem fair, John.
Officially a 36-yard gain on the play for the Junior Mustangs. And we've seen that actually from both teams' offenses, especially early in the drives, to penetrate their opponent's territory, but it seems to be here where they stutter out. The Junior Mustangs keep up with that pattern. They throw the ball. Caught by Melrose. He's wide open. 10, 5. Welcome to Melrose Place. Camden Melrose with a 45-yard TD strike.
DJ to DJ Wonderbread. Spinning on those wheels. What a throw right down the middle. And again, you want to blitz. You're going to pay, and DJ makes a pay. And love the way after, that crazy end of the half, Coach, Bruno Sando and Greg Wilson come out, and they just go right at the throat of the heart of the Cambridge Lion defense. What a ball game we have. Friday Night Lights, 21-all.
Melrose went completely undetected by the Lions defense, especially running to that line of scrimmage. DJ Fonte, the quarterback, with, let's face it, over 1,100 passing yards in the Summer League alone, made no doubts about it to find his open receiver between the hash marks, and then putting on the afterburners was Melrose to get into that end zone. Officially, it's a 41-yard touchdown strike for Melrose. The extra point is through, and what a football game here on a Friday night fight under the lights of Citywide Sports Facility. 21-all with 10:56 left here in the third.
Yeah, and that touchdown drive is brought to you by Battlefield Rentals, giving you this great view tonight, John. And I'll tell you, I just love this ball game. I mean, it's crazy. We've seen everything. It's 21-all, and you got probably the two best teams, going at it toe for toe here on a Friday night. And Cambridge trying to take a 2-game lead. If London wins, they'll be tied for first, but London would have the tiebreaker. So wow, what a ball game! And then a great Hamilton team who beat London in the first game. You'd have almost a situation where there'd be a 3-way tie near the end of the year.
Listen, I know it's fight weekend with the Prospect Fighting Championship Knockout Kidney Disease taking place tomorrow night at the Western Fair Agriplex at 845 Florence Street. But man, oh man, didn't realize that the preliminary fight started on Friday night between the Junior Mustangs and the Cambridge Lions.
Yeah, we got a Rumble in the Jungle Purple Kool-Aid Productions. Mike Valenza in the house here right beside us. So it's what a night.
Jed Troopish boots this one away from the 45-yard line, caught cleanly by the Lions at their 35, and then tackled around the 46-yard line, where the Lions will start their offense off. Great tackle at the end of the play by the junior Mustang and Luke Inclulo.
Looks like the 41-yard line.
It's a physical game, John. That's all I got to tell you. The D-line play has been exceptional, and we've seen everything. It's 21-all, so high-scoring game for the Bantam level early in the third quarter.
What I love is seeing Bobby Giannis fearless, essentially, after receiving an injury earlier in this game. We've seen him already pick up a pick 6, as well as getting back onto the ebbs and flows of the offense of the Lions.
Yeah, that's chilly for you. He's a great ball player.
So snapping the ball to the quarterback, Jacob Book. There is a rotation from the left to the right side. They're going to pitch it to the left side, and with real estate goes Dalton. Dalton breaking through a couple tackles past the 40, sprints past the 30. He's going to go all the way. Hat trick for Dalton. Hat trick for the Lions. Anything you can do, I can do better, says Dalton, as he goes back into the end zone and restores his team's lead.
And what I love about Dalton is as he's taking the ball outside on the outside zone, he's able to put his foot down into the ground and doesn't lose any deceleration on the replay here, Johnny, as he's able to cut it back across the green. Watch it here. Takes the ball and watch him put his foot on the ground right now. And there he goes and just doesn't lose any speed and just outruns everybody.
I loved all the Lions that, poured the foundation for that. I was just going to say, at the very end of that play, you see number 6 and Chase Judge.
Block for number 40. That break at the ball game. 21
Now there's deja vu for you, because number 40 blocked the extra point in the championship game, but we had too many men on the field. So this one counts, and it's now 27-21.
And you know probably better than most coaches that the PAT is also important in these slobberfest type games.
And this Potter kid, and I'll tell you, I remember because he was a first-year player. He wasn't a guy that, started for us. He was a great guy in practice. We couldn't block him in practice. I'm like, put him in. And he goes in and blocks it. We had too many men, and unfortunately, we lost the game by a point. But let's see if that point comes back to haunt the Lions later on in this ballgame.
Rentals supporting the Junior Mustangs this season as a sponsor. Thank you for supporting us with giving us this lift for our beautiful film. And shout out to our film guys, Jay Kenemy. With his beautiful voice on the air.
Ball is placed at the 45-yard line, and Cambridge ready to boot this one away. As the PA announcer, Mr. Eves, giving some love here at Citywide. As we are definitely at the shootout of the OK Corral variety at this point, with the score 27-21. Already 2 majors in this third quarter with 10:19 remaining in it. Dalton with the squib kick, handled back at the 25-yard line. And now going up the field with a head of steam will be Stojakovic. Stojakovic almost lost the ball, but the Junior Mustangs recover at the 50.
But like you said, what a Le'Veon Bell-like return by Coven. Got to hold that ball, maybe get it a little bit high and tight, like to get it up to the chin there. But what a nice little move here. And again, I'm not sure who stripped it out, but the Mustangs did get back on the ball. Great return for the Mustangs.
Created a seam and followed it with his blocks up the field, but you mentioned it, Caleb DaCosta inadvertently just sort of clipped him, and I think DaCosta was even surprised that the ball came loose, because 2 Mustangs were the first to react to it, land on the pigskin, and maintain possession for the home team with the ball at their 50-yard line. So the ball is snapped. Looks like this is a run play. Great defense by the Lions. A gain of no yards by Isaiah McCauley.
Yeah, and again, number 40 here does a good job. He took that penalty early, but what a nice play by 40. As he comes in and just trips him up at the line of scrimmage.
Big plays all around by the Lions, but the coach's son, Marco Piccioni, making up for that earlier blunder where he had that late hit that cost his team penalty yards, and in fact, that's what led to the Clulo rushing major to make it a 14-7 contest at that point. As this one will be handed off to McCauley again. McCauley will make his way to the midfield at the 55-yard line.
You see what Greg Wilson's doing here right now. And Coach Bruno DeSando, they're trying to regain control of the tempo of the game. And a nice inside run. Great job by the O-line. And it'll bring up third and about, let's call it 6, John.
Both teams have been playing 4th down football, though, with no punting staff to speak of. We've only seen one. That's right, one punt this entire contest, which has featured 48 points with 8:47 remaining in the third quarter alone. So DJ Fonte looks behind him, sends 3 to the line, takes the snap. Looks like he's going to hang on to this ball. Fonte needing a couple yards. He's going to pass the 50. Fonte continues to rumble, going to the far sidelines, past the 40. Scampers out of bounds around the 35-yard line. So he goes from his own 50-yard line to the opponent's 35.
And we talked about Macaulay. This time he makes the block, John. Remember we talked about it earlier? He blocks 92, it springs him, and DJ does the rest. Great run. But again, that time Macaulay doing a great job of picking up that block on number 92.
So quickly, the Junior Mustangs find themselves back in Lions territory, trailing the Cambridge squad by 6 points, trying to do something that no other OFL team has been able to do so far in the 2019 fall season, and that is hand the Cambridge Lions an L. As it is Macaulay on the run again, trying to skip out of one tackle, steamrolls through another player, up to the 25-yard line. If he doesn't have the first down, Coach, he's awfully close.
Yeah, nice hard run by Macaulay, like to get his feet up a little bit, but look how he protects the ball, John, right near the end here. Look at that. And, I like this 40. He's playing a little ball game here since that penalty for the Lions.
Yeah, Piccioni in on the tackle, assisting his teammate, I believe, on that play, too.
2nd and 2 here, Johnny.
Chase Judge. So they actually said he was 2 yards shy in the play. To me, it would look like inches coming up, but I'm not the one in the zebra uniform. As DJ Fonte goes right behind the centerman. He'll take the snap, hands this one off to the big man who almost fumbled the ball away. The Lions are saying they have it, and it looks like it is Lions pigskin.
They're saying down by contact, but I don't know. Potter with that hand injury.
Recovered by the Cambridge Lions. They'll be first down.
No, they've given it to Cambridge, and he did fumble it, John.
And I believe it was some 40-on-40 violence. As you watch 40 for the Junior Mustangs here, and Trayman Potter. And if we get it one more time on the replay, I believe the first red uniform to touch number 40 is a fellow 40 right there with a bit of, I don't know, they more look like bucking rams.
He never got the ball, though, because of that hand injury. You could tell he's trying to grapple it, and it kind of bobbles, and then 40, like you said, dislodges it with that contact.
So the Junior Mustangs were rumbling and appeared to be either tying this game up or at least taking a 1-point lead, but no. After several fumbles in the first half, several turnovers on downs via the 4th down play, we get another turnover in this game via a fumble this time from the guys in gray as the Lions offense goes back onto the field. Jacob Book takes the snap, going to hand this ball off to Bobby Siogiannis. And I apologize, they faked the handoff.
I thought Chili had it, and then all of a sudden I seen him running.
Cambridge Lions 2nd down.
Nice little run.
29-yard line.
He had us both faked out, Johnny.
I thought maybe for Jacob Book, if he came closer to us on the near sidelines, there's more real estate to do some damage on that play, because he fooled just about everybody here at Citywide.
2nd and about 8, it looks like.
So if you're Cambridge, your defense just helped you out tremendously by getting the ball back into your possession, albeit in your territory. How imperative is it to make some damage here on offense?
Well, you want to get that 2-score lead, and that's what they're looking to do. Play action passer, Johnny.
And this one is caught. Hauling it down is Dalton.
Immediately taken down by the Junior
right
Mustangs.
Around the 30-yard line.
Summers in on the tackle.
Third and 3 for the Cambridge Lions.
Summers in on the play and does a good job making that open field tackle on a bigger man.
50 tickets. Girls will be coming around. I repeat, last call for 50-50 tickets.
6:03 remains here in the third quarter of play. 27-21 for the Cambridge Lions, who are undefeated so far here in the OFL 2019 fall season. 3-1 are the Junior Mustangs, looking to avoid dropping to 3-2 here on their home turf on your Friday evening. Back into the gun, the pistol formation from the Lions quarterback and Jacob Book. A plethora run to the line. Looks like he hands this one off to Bobby T. To the left side goes Bobby T, sprinting off of a tackle and eventually wrapped up and taken down to the turf around the 39-yard line.
Yeah, sprint draw action. They sprint the quarterback but hand the draw off to Bobby, and he does what he always does. He gets that first down. He has a nose for where that first down marker is, and he gets
first and 10
with about 2 yards spare.
At the 40-yard line.
5:15 now left on the clock as things continue to tick away here on your Friday evening. Coach KJ Academy and yours truly, Johnny Urban, happy to take you through this Week 5 OFL action. As once again, it is the undefeated Cambridge Lions offense onto the field here with their 6-point lead. 2 run to the line. The fake the handoff. Play action. They're going to throw this one deep. In and out of the hands. No, it's caught by the receiver. Are you kidding me? Then they're going to throw on a late penalty flag as it was Chase Smith with a late tackle as the Lion with the incredible one-handed grab. My word. Chase Judge, but a little chase on Chase violence at the end of that one. We'll throw on some more yards.
And that's 2 URs now on Chase Smith, and all the injuries, they can't afford to lose him. The next one, he'd be out of the game, so they'll have to, Coach Miles will have to get him a little settled. I don't think he knew where he was. I don't think that was an intentional roughing play. He's trying to make the tackle. But if we get the replay again, watch Chase Judd. He is exploding at the line of scrimmage. I saw him wide open on the post route. Great throw, great catch. But
that catch, oh my word. Yeah. The ball is just thrown slightly behind him, but to have the wherewithal to simply palm it with one hand, collapse it into his body as he's in theory running away from the ball and trying to receive a hit at the same time.
Tremendous.
Takes some gusto. Quarterback lines up right behind the center. 2 run to the line. Jacob Book takes the snap. Another play action. He's going to throw this one deep too. And this one is also caught. Chase Judge yet again.
Brings up another
man,
down.
It is the Judge show right now on this drive.
And I love what Cambridge is doing here. I mean, they got this big running back that, pretty much has been pretty hard to stop. The Mustangs kind of solved it a little bit with that D-line play action pass. And just a great adjustment on the underthrown ball.
Dylan Machado
had good coverage, John.
But I was going to say, Dylan Machado was covering Chase Judge very well. But what Chase Judge ended up doing was adjusting to the underthrown ball, and that's nothing that Machado did, allowing for another first down toss. Back-to-back first down plays by the Cambridge offense. Can they make it 3 in a row? It's a third play action. This ball is caught and rumbling close towards the end zone, reaching for the pylon. They're going to say that he stepped out of bounds, though, as Nathan Pachinik. So Pachinik almost had the first down, but he'll be marked at the 1.
Yeah, big 74 on the little out route, and they haven't thrown to him all game. John, it's hard to see. I mean, the refs are right there, but what a great effort as he tried to rumble and bumble and stumble over the goal line. Yeah, but nevertheless didn't get there.
Nathan Pachinik, again, in on the action. The big man, number 74, rumbling on the ball. And if it wasn't for that, last gasp effort from the Junior Mustangs defense, just to push him by the shoelaces out of bounds, it would have already been a touchdown. But the Lions are hungry for some more majors. They're going to hand this one right up into the middle. And they're going to say the Junior Mustangs denied Dalton by inches.
Yeah, Sergeant Nichols, second and goal. Like, you pick your poison. That D-line has done a heck of a job. And once again, the blocked extra point, and now they're holding tough on the goal line. They need a goal line stand here on second and, about a yard, John.
3:30 remains here in the third quarter of play. This was a Junior Mustangs team that had a 7-0 lead to start the game. 14-7, in fact, in the final minute of the second quarter, but then went into the halftime break after their quarterback threw 2 straight interceptions and went down 21-14. Down here by 7, the ball is snapped by the quarterback, Jacob Book. He hands this off to Bobby Giajonis, and he is tackled by a barnload of Mustangs.
James Sargent, number 65, absolutely exploded. And I think it's Daniel Amari as well. Great penetration, and the Mustangs now 3rd and 3. Man, this would be huge if they could stop them here, John.
Coach KJ Academy called for a defensive goal line stance, and he's 1 play away from getting it. Although I might say 2 plays because every team has been going for it on 4th down, just featuring 1 punt here on your Friday evening. Now, do they go to the air? They're going to go to the air, and they're going to have a man open. It is caught. Touchdown, Lions. And what I like about this was Nathan Pachinik was denied a touchdown by the shoelaces earlier. And, well, the Lions go back to Pachinik, and he gets the touchdown toss.
Yeah, you watch on the replay here, and Steph's been just giving us so many great replays from Alex and the camera crew. But Chase Smith's got to recognize it's on the goal line. You've got the number 2 guy. The problem is he looks like he's a lineman, and he just kind of, they're so worried about Judd that they forget about 74 on the out.
I thought Simon Cantor for the Junior Mustangs wearing number 18 had an opportunity as the Cambridge Lions try and get tricky with it. Play action. It is caught. The 2-point convert is good.
For the Cambridge Lions.
Well, how do you like that, Coach? The quarterback grabbed the ball, immediately pitched it, and, well, a bit of a flea flicker, if you will, works to get the 2-point convert.
I'd like to see the replay on that, John, because if his knee's down, we didn't get that one, but if his knee's down, John, you can't do that. But, again, I didn't see the play. Great design, and it worked, and They got that point back that Potter blocked.
From my eye, that was just a simple flea flicker coach that worked in perfection, and the Junior Mustangs fell for
Were they going for the extra point?
No, they snapped the ball directly,
To extend the life of your vehicle, working hard to deliver to their customers the best product, service, and warranty in the industry.
So sadly but surely, the wheel's starting to fall off the wagon for the London Junior Mustangs, who again had a 14-7 lead with the final minute of the second quarter, and now find themselves trailing 35-21, down by 2 majors here with 2:28 remaining in the third quarter of play.
I'd like to see, I don't know if, I know it's tough. Steph's trying to get all these replays for us, maybe after the kickoff. I'd like to see that touchdown again to see if 74 was indeed eligible, but we'll have to see after this kickoff, John, because there's some question here in the booth here from the officials.
Dalton from the 45 will approach the ball, but from my understanding, once he boots this one away, well, you can cry about it all you want. There's nothing you're going to do to go back in time. As the squib kick goes right off of the receiver's arm. Great job to react to it, though. And now heading up the field with a set of steam and then eventually being plowed down to the turf. Dalton with an incredible tackle after kicking the ball.
74 is a tight end.
That's a 46-yard line.
I thought he was a tight end.
46-yard line.
Lined up a tight end.
Yeah, separates off the block from Cantor, who came in to potentially block the pass.
Yeah, and then the safety's got to come down and make that play. And it's a great, you know what, but it's confusing because 74's been blocking the whole game, and so you kind of lose track of him, and that's what great play design by Cambridge. That's all you can say about that. But you know what, we got a great ball game. It's 35-21. The Mustangs had a chance. Unfortunately, they fumbled the football. They've been moving the ball. This game isn't over, John. This has been one whale of a ball game so far.
Although defensively they've been breaking, not just bending, and offensively we really haven't seen much since that first drive of the third quarter. They go back to the ground, and the Lions swallow up the ground attack. That's McCauley with a lack of a gain.
Yeah, 63 this time for the Lions. Does a good job of penetrating, and he beats Claylo to the inside and makes a great play. And so, again, like I said, John, one thing I've enjoyed about this ballgame is the D-line play has been absolutely great for this level of football.
That is Jackson LeShook for the Cambridge Lions.
He played 3 seasons here.
So all the former Mustangs playing a major factor for the Lions in this contest with 98 seconds remaining here in the third quarter of play. This is a play action, which they have tried repeatedly with the quarterback, DJ Fonte, hanging onto the ball. The Lions are going to fall for the same trick twice, though.
Yeah, the zone read, and that time, number 40, your guy, John, does a good job. He doesn't make the play, John, but he snuffs it out so that DJ can't get inside, and a great job by the rest of his boys cleaning it up.
Marco Piccioni wearing number 40 this evening for the Cambridge Lions. A third down play now coming up for the offense of the Junior Mustangs, trailing here by 14 points with a minute and 5 seconds left. And unfortunately, there does appear to be another injured player on the turf.
Yeah, you know, I think that looks like Orion that's down. So that'll hurt the Mustangs, one of the starting second-year-old linemen for the Mustangs. So
I've seen a handful of players go back down to the turf, not only in a gray uniform, but a red uniform as well here on your Friday night.
Yeah. So, you know, I know there's an issue of eligible numbers. I don't think in the OFL the eligible numbers matter. It's not like the OPFL where they actually do. And I think 70s now, I'll check with John Patrick. He's our referee-in-chief here for the London area. John, is 74 now an eligible number in Canadian football?
It's ineligible.
It's ineligible, so it is now ineligible. But in the OFL, I don't believe the numbers have to be like they are in the OPFL, where you have to actually use the numbering system. It'd be interesting to find out that rule.
Now, for those at home wondering, why is there such a rule? Can you explain that a little bit as to why the numbering system is so important?
So it's to designate who the linemen are, who's eligible, who can go downfield on a passing play. And so, you know, if indeed the OFL, and I'm pretty sure the OFL doesn't have that rule, but in the OPFL for sure it does. So at youth football level, you know, kids wear whatever numbers they like. You'll see a 99 at quarterback sometimes, and I hate that, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. And, unless you report, 74 could come in and report eligible to the referees, and the defense has to be aware of that if you were playing in the OPFL and if that rule, in effect, is in the OFL. But I'm almost 100% sure at this level they don't use the numbering system.
So with a minute and 5 seconds remaining in the third quarter, we get an injury break here, and I believe on the field, if I can make out the number, is it 51 or 61, Coach?
I think it's Orion Anton John 67, I believe. I'm not 100%. Yeah, it is 67. It looks like 61.
Orion Anton John who's on his own feet. The Cambridge Lions, as you see on your screen there, folks, applauding the injured junior Mustang.
Maybe we get the replay and see what happened. I didn't see
After
anything,
the short
John.
break, our ball game will shortly continue.
Pulling here,
The junior Mustangs
and he comes through, and we don't see it, unfortunately.
Well, you do see him get a jersey pushed right there out of your screen.
Oh.
And I'm wondering when he got dragged awkwardly by the jersey, maybe he rolled the ankle. Because when you're a big man, it doesn't take much to put you off balance, and those ankles need a lot more support for all that weight.
Absolutely.
So now DJ Fonte sends 3 to the line. He'll hand this one off. No, he doesn't. It's a play action. Fonte trying to laser this one down the field. It is caught, but going down on his own accord is Kovin Stojakovic.
That'll bring up a junior Mustangs 4th down. Looks like 4th.
It'll be a 4th down play coming up. We've seen an awful lot of these on your Friday evenings.
Yeah, unfortunately, Kovin had to dig that ball out, but a good job of catching it. And it brings up 4th and manageable, John. So, like I said, these injuries that have happened, losing Kieran Akapova, and other guys are stepping up making plays, but a huge 4th down here for the Mustangs. They got to convert, Johnny.
This is a massive 4th down play after fumbling the ball away in Lions territory on their last offensive drive and having their quarterback throw 2 straight interceptions on back-to-back drives to end out the first half. This is a junior Mustangs team that was having a 7-point lead in the first half, now down by 14 here late in the third quarter. The ball is snapped. Fonte ranging back, going to go to the same play, it looks like. This one is
caught
by
Good
Stojakovic.
job.
It's caught by the junior Mustangs. First down,
Kovin
Mustangs.
picks up the first down. Nice route, nice play design, John. Gotta love it. Huge 4th down conversion.
Man, he needed to get, though, to what, the 58-yard line? And I think he got to the 52 there. Or I'm losing track. It would be the 54 of your opposition's line.
Yeah. Nice little route design. Double out concept from Coach Greg Wilson, and they rolled DJ to the short side of the field this time. First time we've seen that.
So 1st and 10 having life after 2 Kovin catches. This will be the last play of the third quarter, barring a penalty. Pump fake from DJ Fonte, trying to go deep. This ball is caught and tackled down at the 23-yard line.
Joshua, 3 for 3.
It's a hat trick for Kovin Stojakovic.
Third quarter.
That time you see what happened there was Abazzini ran the inside route, and it opened Kovin up on the pump fake, and just a great throw and catch. And the Mustangs are rolling here going into the 4th.
So it'll be the first play of the 4th quarter coming up here as the teams will flip sides of the field. Kovin, though, appears to be hurt on the turf. He's down on a knee, coach.
Wow, that's another receiver. John, they've lost a lot of receivers tonight. I don't know who they have left on the depth chart as I take a quick look here, Johnny. Kieran's out, and now Kovin, and they're missing one of their receivers is away this week.
They still have AA batteries in Abazzini.
Yeah, he rolls. They've got, they're just going to have to figure out who they're going to put out there now that Kovin's down. And Abazzini last week, great game, nice little corner route early in the game that got the Mustangs rolling on that 53-point game. Had a ball that was in the end zone, and if you had to go to replay, I think he might have had it, but again, the refs called it short, so we'll see what happens here as the Mustangs having to bring in some wholesale changes. This is the 3rd major injury to the Mustangs.
I'd be looking for that Slick Rick kid in the purple sleeves there. Melrose already has a 41-yard touchdown strike.
Junior Mustangs.
You got the purple sleeves, you got the orange shoes. I mean, the Mustangs for sure are styling anyway.
11:50 remains in this game. Down by 14, the junior Mustangs knocking on the Lions' red zone. They try and get the Lions to bite. They don't. DJ Fonte resettles his offense. Will they audible here, or they stick to the same play? They do. 2 run to the line. Make that 3. Fonte looking to go to the end zone. Incomplete pass, but they're going to call the Lions on pass interference.
So Abazzini, who's played outside, went to the outside receiver, ran the post, and the pass interference was on the Cambridge Lions there, and just got tripped up on Abazzini, and Manning there was the defensive back from the Lions.
Yeah, Keyshawn Manning, the intended target for the junior Mustangs, and back on the defense for the Lions. That was Chase
He's
Judge.
He's calling it uncatchable. I can't believe this. I just don't get it.
Folks, looks like the ball is called uncatchable. No flags on the play.
Oh, I don't know, man. I mean, I guess we have the luxury of replay. That was he was 2 yards away from that ball, John. If he doesn't get tripped up.
With all the turnovers, all the funky plays here on your Friday evening, the officials, in my opinion, KJ, have been immaculate tonight, but
yeah,
you mentioned it. Sometimes that's a 50-50 play. Heck, I was the one saying the quarterback should be murdered if he's running out of the pocket earlier, so they were doing a great job tonight. This is a play action, and DJ Fonte's got room to run. He shoulder shrugs the line out of his way, and
close to first.
He'll be close to the first down as the stick gang
number 3, DJ Fonte,
had to bail out of that one in a hurry. I was wondering, where did the first down marker go?
First down.
Well, he
he got the first. They gave it to him, and what a block by Abazzini. Did you see that? That's what got him that first down. Great job there. And that's what I love about tonight. Both sets of receivers are blocking down.
We have your winner for the 50-50. Your number is 698-260. I repeat, the winning 50-50 ticket is
11:05 remaining here in this ball game. Once again, it's the Junior Mustangs trailing by 14 points. They had a 7-point lead to start this game, and we're leading 14-7 in the final minute of the third quarter. DJ Fonte hangs on to the ball, tries to break through the line of scrimmage. Now he'll be smothered by Piccioni, the big man wearing number 40. But
quarterback number 3.
Yeah.
I mean, he gains a couple yards on that play.
First down.
I wouldn't risk my quarterback at this point.
No, I agree. And
You're down by 14. Not only do you need him for this drive, you need him
Mustangs
for a couple
first
more
and 10
after this one, too.
now they're bringing
12-yard
Manning out of
line.
the game, so that's interesting.
So Keyshawn Manning checks out, and Coven, who is injured after making 3 straight catches, checks back in.
And that's going to allow Abazzini to go back to his natural slot position. And now DJ's got his guys where they practice all week, so it'll be interesting to see what route design they come up with here.
Do they go to Stakoviak again, as the ball will be snapped to DJ Fonte, fakes the handoff, throws it, the pass is completed, Melrose looking to get into the end zone! He'll be marked at the 1-yard line.
Mustang's throw is just
I thought he
All Melrose Place had to do was extend the ball over the pylon, and would have been a Junior Mustangs major, as the pole gets directly in our way, the grandstand lights get in our way, but
You know who made the play, though, was Chase Judd. No, not Chase Judd, sorry, number 24, I think, John, just pushed him out at the last second. But is it first down now, John?
It'll be first and goal from the 2-yard line.
No, it's second and goal, Johnny. Remember that quarterback sneak we didn't like on the first down call? Still, though, you're on the 1. You got to punch it in here.
Push it in, O'Reilly! Let's go, O'Reilly!
And this is all without Orion Anton John in the ballgame.
DJ Fonte right behind the center with 9:49 remaining here in the third quarter. He hands this ball off, but the Lions defense steps up against the rush and stuffs them in the backfield.
Great penetration again. 92 has just had himself one heck of it. Number 40,
I don't like that play design, though, Coach. He fakes the handoff initially to Clulo and then waits for the trailing running back and McCauley. Cambridge was already assuming it was a run play, and if you fake the first handoff, it gives them the opportunity to bring the house.
So is this fourth down now, or is it third? I'm not sure. Third and goal, Johnny.
So we'll see what kind of play design is going to be called by the coaching staff here as DJ Fonte once again goes behind the line of center. He's going to hand this one off, and this one is going to be fumbled. Cambridge is pointing that they have it.
Short. Fumble on the play.
And
ball's recovered by the Cambridge Lions. It'll be first down, Cambridge Lions.
They're going to say Lions ball at the 1-yard line.
That's a tough one, you know. Cleo you got to run straight ahead. You don't want to bounce it outside in the red zone. And just unfortunate, but hey, you know, the Mustangs defense has played well. They got to come up with a stop here, and there's lots of football left. 8:58 to go, but oh wow, that one's got to hurt.
After fumbling on the previous offensive drive when they gained Cambridge territory, here they not only gained the red zone, they gained within 3 yards of the end zone, and yet it's the same result as the last drive, Coach. They fumble it back into Lions' possession.
A safety would be just what the doctor ordered.
So they are going to hand this ball off, and they might have the safety in the end zone. That is a safety. Coach KJ Kennedy called for it, and the defense obliged.
And my song comes on, Johnny. Here we go. I might do a jig here, but yeah, that's a great play by the defensive line from the Mustangs. And
so they say it ain't over till it's over.
And that 2 points is huge, Johnny.
So they were down by 14. They fumbled the ball in the red zone, yet the defense says, don't worry, offense, we got your back. They get to the running back on a run play by the rush offense of Cambridge into their end zone.
And in a game, John, when there's been 58 points scored, I believe that's the number right now.
That's
the D lines have been phenomenal, Johnny. I mean, again, the defensive line of the Mustangs, wholesale, and they did that against a pretty good football player that they had to take down in that to get that safety.
So we've seen the junior Mustangs go to more of a pro rush offense, specifically when they feel like they're in Cambridge territory. However, it is a 45-yard TD strike to Akaboboka and a 41-yard TD strike to Melrose that has done the majority of the damage in this game. Those are aerial assaults. My point being is, do you go back to the pass game when you're down here by 12 points in the final minutes of play?
You have to, and with that safety, you get the ball back. So a huge play by the Mustang defense.
Let's see what DJ Fonte can do. The ball is snapped. He's going to whip this one to the far side. It is caught. Reeling it in at the 45-yard line. Rowan Pierce.
Yeah, he gets about 11 yards on that. On the that's a slant route, but they run a little bit deeper, John. Like you said, the short ones have killed them tonight, really. But that time they get a nice 11-yard gain.
So 1st and 10 play coming up yet again for the Junior Mustangs offense, down by 12 with 8:05 now remaining here in the fourth quarter clock. This is OFL Week 5 action, and there's a timeout taken on the field by the Lions defense.
I'll tell you, John, the last 2 Friday nights have been track meets here at Citywide Field. And, I mean, if you love, youth football, this is a battle for first place. It'd be a 3-way tie with the Hamilton Junior Ticats if the Mustangs were able to come back here. But the number one unbeaten, untested Cambridge Lions are getting everything. The Mustangs are throwing everything they can at them. And to be honest with you, John, the Mustangs have made some mistakes. They should be leading this ball game, but it shows how good of a team Cambridge is because they've been able to, withstand and make some big plays.
They're gonna knock out kidney disease tomorrow night at 8:45 Florence Street as Prospect Fighting Championships will put together the knockout kidney disease. Well, a bit of a fight jamboree here in the Forest City tomorrow night, but we're going into the championship rounds of this fight tonight here on your Friday night under the lights of Citi Field Sports Facility. 8:01 remains on the clock with the Mustangs down by 12.
Yeah, and the one guy that, we've seen some good blocks from Abazzini and some good route designs. I'd like to see them try to get him the football just because what you've seen tonight is everybody's touched the ball, and I think they might have something maybe on a corner route.
Well, we saw with the Lions in their last touchdowns through Nathan Pahanic. Nobody expected number 74 to break off the line the way he did, and then he was wide open for the quarterback in Jacob Book. Here goes DJ Fonte. He's going to have to throw this one away. No, it is caught by McCauley. I apologize. McCauley trying to stutter away from one tackle. Eventually gets out of it and maybe gains 2 or 3 more yards than I thought he would on the play.
Yeah, there's that screen pass, but this time we'll see if a great job again by number 8, the kid that I was talking about early in the game, John, and then 63 comes in and cleans it up.
Yeah, that's Nathan Clifford, the big red dog in the Lions uniform, getting the job done. As it'll bring up a second down play here for the Junior Mustangs with 7:27. The biggest enemy of theirs right now is the clock, KJ.
And you're watching Junior Mustang TV live on YouTube, and our producer, Stephanie Mouse, thank you for all these great replays, and Alex for these great shots.
We got to thank Battlefield, too, for providing the equipment so our cameraman can get a high on the sky for these great angles. As DJ Fonte is going to be intercepted by the Lions. Stephen McDonald picks it up at the 40. The third interception of the game from DJ Fonte. And I hear it also faintly, but I believe that's the nails going in the Junior Mustangs coffin.
Well, there's still lots of time left. I think the route design is my issue, John, on the replay. I'm just not sure if someone broke off the route because he's looking to throw it, and where he throws it, there's no Mustang receiver, just number 4 who's come back from that injury in the first half.
Coven was the lone receiver within the vicinity, as you see number 7 pop up in your screen just there. But the third interception of the game, and you got to think, Junior Mustangs had a 14-7 lead. DJ Fonte had thrown no interceptions. Fonte now has 3 picks, and his team trails by 12. As Jacob Book flushed on the pocket, he's going to throw this one. And even if that was caught, which I guess they're going to say it is by Bobby T, he loses yards because his knee was on the turf.
Yeah, and that works in the Mustangs' favor. I mean, with 6:44, you got to get a thorn out.
But your Mustangs gave you 2 free points and got your offense back onto the field.
Yeah.
Asking your defense to get you 12 points with 6:34 remaining is a bit of a tall order.
Yeah, but Cambridge was able to do it, so anything's possible at that end of that half, Johnny.
That is true. 2 straight interceptions, including a pick six
Here's
touchdown.
What I don't get, John, is why are you running the ball with that? He's a
Dalton.
stud. Dalton, yeah. I mean, are we watching Roadhouse or something like Dalton? I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Get him the ball.
Well, he's roadhousing the defense so far, especially on that 50-yard strike for his first touchdown, 1 of 3 in this game. Jacob Book, the quarterback's going to hang on to this one, dangerously takes a hit at the 40-yard line. So he'll make up for the previous lost yardage on the play, but again, I don't know if you want to sacrifice your quarterback like that for a limited yard.
Yeah, and a bootleg, and it gets that Mustang defensive line that's been in the backfield all game. Catches them, but 3.5-yard gain. It still brings up 3rd and let's call it a long 11, John.
So 5:40 remaining on the citywide clock here in the Forest City on your Friday evening. The Lions looking to improve to a perfect 5-0 here in the 2019 OFL fall season. Their quarterback, Jacob Book, takes the snap with 3 running the line. Looks to hand this one off. No, it's a play action. Throws it to the far side. The ball's up in the air. Oh, my word. This guy is insane in the membrane. Dalton with the jungle catch.
What a play by Summers. I mean, Summers knocks it down, but Dalton somehow makes the catch. But it'll bring
1, 2,
4th and 8.
3. That's a tip drill, KJ Kennedy.
It really is. But again, Summers does a good job. He's undersized. And he's able to cover Dalton, so man, this is a huge 4th down. And if I'm going to stand, I'm taking a timeout here to save some time.
I believe that they're going to just let Dalton boot this one away, and Dalton has a bit of a breeze. I would say to his off-right shoulder.
Run the ball here.
Well, you know what, KJ, you've been on to a lot of these things today, but this time Dalton just sends a spiral. It takes a kicker's roll. Coven's got to go all the way back to his own 10-yard line to recover it. Stojkovic making his way up the field, zags right, then goes left, then takes a mean lick at the 25-yard line. As I believe it was Dalton of all people. That's got to be the 3rd time in this game that Stojkovic went back for a Dalton kick, zigzags his way through a couple lines, and then Dalton of all people goes, "I've had enough of your antics, little one," and gets him down to the turf.
Yeah, and it just what a nice little job after the ball kind of rolled. But again, the Mustangs have 4:28 to go. I believe they've got 4 timeouts, Sean. I don't think they've taken one. You got to start using them and save that clock.
So that rule, by the way, just throws me right off that you get 4 timeouts throughout the entire game, and you can use them at any time.
Was there a penalty at the end of that play, it looks like, John? Because they moved it up to the 40. You are? Yeah, 15-yard penalty on Dalton for the hit. Let's see it. I don't know what Dalton did wrong. I mean, except for the fact that he just made a big tackle. Like, I don't get it.
Well, this could be one of those cases where, let's face it, Coven's a little smaller, Dalton's a little bigger. And when you see that collision, it can look a lot fiercer than it is.
Oh, no, he got him with the helmet in the head. That's a good call. Yep, you know, the refs, like I said, they know they're right there. Here we go, play action.
Incomplete pass, the intended target on the play for the junior Mustangs.
Chase Judd, John, stops Melrose. Melrose is trying to run the seam route, and Chase Judd gets away with one here. But and that's what great DBs are able to do: get away with them every now and then, as he nudges them and doesn't allow that seam pass to develop. And that's that one that you called earlier, John, that they hit right down the seam for a touchdown.
I got a feel for Dalton on that previous UR penalty, though, because let's face it, as I mentioned, if you want to take the average height, Coven's a little smaller, Dalton's a little bigger. That means Dalton's got to go an awful way down to make that clean tackle. If he makes that on a kid that's an average size, it's a clean hit.
Yeah, I guess the issue was leading with the head, and they're trying to take that out of the ball game, and it's a point of emphasis. But yeah, you're right, it's tough. I mean, he's just a big man. I mean, he's bigger than everybody. Let's just put it that way.
2nd and 10. The Mustangs facing the clock with 4 minutes remaining. DJ Fonte down the field. It is caught by the junior Mustangs in front of the Cambridge bench, refusing to go back. And then they eventually ripped him down. It appeared by the helmet, but not according to the officials, as there's no flag on the play.
At about the 20-yard line.
Not sure why they're not taking a timeout here, John.
Tremont Porter, though, my word, one thing to catch the ball, but it was the yards after the catch that was even more impressive.
That was Chase Smith that caught that ball. Chase Smith caught that ball, Johnny. Number 10. Tremont plays O-line and, fullback and D-line.
Looks like Junior Mustangs first down at the 35-yard line. Sorry, 25-yard line.
3:16 left in this ball game, though, and they trail by 12, and there doesn't seem to be too much angst in the offense right now to get going. As DJ Fonte's going to huck this one towards the end zone. It's got a man open. Once again was trying to find the previous target in Chase Smith. But unfortunately, Chase Smith couldn't reel this one in.
They've got something here to the right side if they want it. But again, nice play design, and too bad that we didn't, sometimes you get a pass interference call, but a great job again by the Lions.
Schuliger with great defense by the Lions.
Great coverage.
Yep. It looked like he might have been beaten there, too, at the very end of it. But the ball got caught up in this gust that's blowing across Citywide. And we got under 3 minutes remaining here in this OFL Week 5 slobber knocker under the lights of Citywide. As DJ Fonte takes a high snap, he's got to go after back for it. The quarterback recovers it. But man, oh man, the Junior Mustangs just plexico burst themselves pretty damn good.
Yeah, let's see the snap here.
10 yards after the first down.
Yeah, we just catch it at the end of the play. But yeah, over the top of his head, and unfortunate, ill-opportune. But again, the Mustangs have converted a 4th and long. It's 3rd and long, and with 2:45 to go, I think the Mustangs will take a timeout here.
Junior Mustangs, first touchdown of the game to go up 7-0, happened on a 4th down conversion in a very similar real estate as to where they are now. And they resulted in a 45-yard TD straight to Akabavoka, who's been unavailable for the second half because of an injury. So 3rd down and a country mile. DJ Fonte looking for a clean snap and gets one. Looks to air this one deep down the field. In and out of the hands of a Lion. It could have been intercepted by Bobby T.
Intercepted, ball's dropped.
And Bobby T, you see the adjustment now. They put Bobby T on Smith. There's a couple things here that, maybe a pump fake, but you got to take a shot here and try to get the football, maybe to someone that you haven't kind of went to.
I'm really shocked, specifically on that play because it was a 3rd down. Why not divide it into a 2-down play? Get at least 5 or 10 yards, something in the middle. Yeah, try and make the damage a little less to go on this 1st down because let's face it, they're facing a 4th and we'll say 22 here. That's an awful tall task for DJ Fonte.
It might be more than 22. Remember Ray Rice with the Ravens the year they won the Super Bowl?
They already
4th and forever.
They went forward on 4th down on the very first offensive drive of this game, and it resulted in a 45-yard touchdown. They need a similar fate here. They get the Lions to jump.
Free play, throw it.
And they got the free play, but the officials are blowing the whistle, and I believe.
Let them get the free play.
I think what happened though is because the lineman crossed the line and
made contact with the line.
That's exactly it.
That would have been huge if they at least got the free play on that.
Push the ball 5 yards up, repeat 4th down.
But it does, and I say does, put a little bit of we'll call it a Barney Band-Aid on the situation for now for the Junior Mustangs because they get a free 5 yards out of it, and they repeat a 4th down play.
Here's what I'm going to tell you, John. I can't wait for the playoffs, man. This has been something else these last 2 weeks on YouTube TV, and
the wind gusting up here on Citywide, and that's a factor. This is a big 4th down play, and we know that the quarterback and DJ Fonte is going to want to air this one out. Gusty winds playing a factor. He's going to throw this one on a bit of a slant route. It is caught, but Melrose needs way more yards. He's tackled fiercely down to the 24-yard line. Melrose pops back up, though, but it's a turnover on downs.
1st down, Cambridge Lions.
Well, with 2:28 to go, John, you still have your timeouts. You got 3 left. Obviously, it's going to be tough to get 12 points, but, if you get the defense has been doing a pretty good job here, maybe a turnover, you're hoping for something here with 3 timeouts. You never know, and then the onside kick, who knows, John, because, Trippish is a pretty good onside kicker.
But if I'm Coach Piccioni of these Cambridge Lions, I'm giving a heavy dose of Dalton on the ground. And by the way, Dalton, I believe, hasn't fumbled in this game. We have seen fumbles, though, by the Lions offense.
Is he even in the game, John? I don't see him.
Jacob Book is going to snap the ball, but a timeout is quickly taken by the Lions offense here before they snap the ball. With 2:28 remaining in this game, up by 12 points.
That's an interesting timeout, I guess. Did he not go on the field? Is he injured?
Well, as you say that, I'm wondering, though, if they took that timeout to get Dalton okay and to get him back onto the field. Although I don't see 32 checking in for this next play.
So that's interesting. 32's out of the ball game.
I hate to say this though, Jay. I know you're saying Canadian football, Canadian time, and all that. They need a pick 6.
Yeah,
they need their defense to score points, and they need to get their offense onto the field, and it's not looking the greatest right now. Jacob Book on a pitch play. It's Bobby T. avoiding one tackle, eventually smothered down around the 20-yard line to bring up second down.
Mustangs, that'll bring up Cambridge second
And again,
down.
you know, without 32 in the ball game, you know, the Mustangs do a good job, and it's going to bring up second and long. And like you said, John, you got to take the timeout, but you got it right. You got to get a strip, you got to get a fumble, you got to get something to give yourself an opportunity to win this ball game.
It's really unfortunate because after the first drive of the second half, the Junior Mustangs scored a touchdown to tie this game up 21-all. But then we simply haven't seen anything from the offense. DJ Fonte has now thrown 3 interceptions.
They've moved the ball, John, but they've
fumbled
They've stumbled it up. They lost a bad snap here. It's been an unfortunate night where errors have been the kind of the miscues, and the injuries have piled up on the Mustangs. And
so for my adage, though, if a tree falls in the forest and nobody's around to hear it, doesn't make a noise. If your team puts up a bunch of yards but fumbles it in your opposition's red zone, did you really do anything offensively?
Yeah, you did. you gotta take the positives. It's just, I think what I'm basically saying, John, is the mental errors and the errors are far more in favor of the Mustangs than have been on the Lions, and that's been the difference in this ballgame.
But it's the positioning too, KJ. I'd rather your team fumble a ball in midfield, not being organized there, and then instead of getting into the red zone, being fluent and then being choppy there. Yeah. As once again, the Lions are actually going to throw this ball. It is caught and trying to make their way up the field, trying to get to the first down marker is Chase Judge.
Smothered by the Junior Mustangs.
Yeah, he's going to get about a 4-yard gain here, or 5.
Brings up third down with 2:17 remaining on the clock.
5 for the Cambridge Lions.
Yeah, even 3rd and 6 here, John. You know, I think the Mustangs take I think they got 1 timeout left. So they got 3 left, the Mustangs. The Mustangs have 3 timeouts left, John. So if they can stop them here, that's what the scorekeeper just told me 3. So I don't know what's going on. It seems like there's 100 timeouts for a team in the OFL.
And it'll go down to 2 timeouts as the London Junior Mustangs burn one right here.
There, I thought they took it, but the unfortunate part, John, is you lost 18 seconds, right?
So 2:10 remains on the clock here at Citywide. We appreciate you tuning in all around the world. The Junior Mustangs TV, a Purple Kool-Aid production with Air K-Jax Communications. KJ Kedemy and yours truly, Johnny Urban, happy to take you through this OFL Week 5 action here in the 2019 Fall League.
I got to say this, John. Glad to have you back. Got to have that guy, the play-by-play guy. I love having you back. It's been a great night tonight, and just like I said, man, lots of fun here, and we'll get Ronnie back in a few weeks, and the playoffs are coming. I just can't wait.
We're happy to take you through the majority of the games that the Junior Mustangs have this season on the Bantam level. If you've been following along London Junior Mustangs TV, you notice that we've actually done a couple Beef Feeders games as well. So we're trying to expand it out to the football familia around the community as the Cambridge Lions are going to throw this ball. Big defensive play by the Junior Mustangs. Number 22 in on the action, Keyshawn Manning.
Yeah, Keyshawn Manning, who usually plays running back in hero, comes in from his hero spot and just tears down. Actually, he's playing for DeBoer right now over on the field on the money side. And what a great play. And it's going to force a punt, but now here's the problem. Their punter is out of the game. I think their big guy's out. I think he might be injured.
He's back in there right now, number 32.
So maybe he was out for 3 plays with an injury? I can't figure out why he'd be out.
Could have been.
Can't figure it.
I do remember him getting that UR. Maybe the coach was making a point of being like, hey, you can sit out this next drive as a result if you're going to do something like that on my football team. Regardless, like you mentioned, he's been a healthy kicker, and that's an important role right now for these Cambridge Lions. He gets this one away. Trying to grab it on a one-hop is Coven again, and he's got to end up grabbing it on the 42-yard line. Can he get some blocks up the field? Trying to get past the 50, eventually tackled by Piccioni at the 53-yard line.
By the Junior Mustangs.
So with 1:36 to go, John, you got to score quick. That's just the bottom line here.
And the one thing that should help DJ Fonte is that Gus that was going across the field on his last attempted thrown ball on the 4th down play has sort of died off. So a quarterback that needs to throw the ball here late.
53-yard
so far, Mother Nature's cooperating. And as I say that, a light gust goes across our tent.
Yeah. And then we've avoided the weather. And once again, John, tomorrow night I know where you're going to be. You're going to be watching some fighting. We'll talk about that in a minute. Big play here for the Mustangs.
96 seconds left on the clock, down by 12. The Junior Mustangs snap the ball to DJ Fonte. They hand it off to McCauley. McCauley to the near side. I beg your pardon. It is Keyshawn Manning. Manning with the first down and more. Past the 30, past the 20, past the 10. Tackled down at the 3-yard line. The ball came loose. but they're going to say he was down by contact
Take a timeout.
at the 3-yard line.
Timeout. That's the big play they need to take the timeout right here.
There are flags on the field.
Flags back around the 20-yard line.
For what?
So we're seeing it on the replay here, KJ, as we watch number 21.
No. There's no flag.
Well, McCauley, though, came in there, Coach.
But he hit him from the front, and it didn't even affect the play. That's not a good call. Sorry. That's just ridiculous. I mean, watch it here, Johnny. He basically just touches him. Like, I don't get it.
And it's unnecessary.
But so that'll bring up a Junior Mustangs first down.
Well, they're in the red zone. That's the main thing here.
And they still get the first down. I don't believe, though, they'll be in the red zone, Jay. I think they're putting the ball around the 30-yard line from where I can see the positioning of the officials. So the ball's placed at the 30.
After the play, it'll be first and 10 Junior
so
Mustangs.
That costs them at least 27 yards. And, like you mentioned, they were on the doorstep of the end zone. Now there's 1:22 left, and DJ Fonte has to look for a little more magic. He's going to hand this one off again to Manning, but Manning can't do the same thing twice as he tries to go to the left side, and the line stuffed the rush down.
Second and 11.
Yeah, interesting. There's some different guys out on the field right now, and it's 1:19 to go.
The cornucopia of injuries that the Junior Mustangs have had to face tonight. I'd imagine it's leaving the coaching staff scratching their heads to fill in the gaps where they can.
Yeah, interesting situation with 1:14 to go, and you really need to score, and you need to score right now.
Second down play, just over a minute left in this ball game. London down by 12. DJ Fonte sends 3 to the line. They stutter out. They don't get Cambridge to jump, or they do. It is a free play according to the officials. It's an incomplete pass. Stojakovic, again, the intended
throw by QB,
target,
incomplete,
but unfortunately, I think for London, they're getting a free 5 yards on this play if I read it correctly.
Yeah, and that play is, the free play is great. I mean, that's what you're trying to do. Just unfortunate that, it's just overthrown a little bit. But
well, like you're saying, on that play, they're playing with house money.
Yeah.
It'd be nice for the Junior Mustangs who are down by 12 to hit the lottery, KJ, and get a major there. It would help out at least, but let's face it, they need a major here. Plus, they need to get the ball back into the possession. They need 2 majors in the final minute of play, and that is not an easy thing for any ball game. Oh yeah, we saw Cambridge do it to end the second quarter, so it's not impossible.
For sure.
DJ Fonte taking the snap. This is a second down play. He's rolling out of the pocket. Piccioni going after him. Fonte's going to throw this one, just incomplete. A wise play by the quarterback as he was running out of real estate. 50 seconds left on the clock. A third down play coming.
Yeah, I mean, just looking to set the screen up. But again, Manning in at running back and probably didn't practice this play that much this week because he's been playing on defense with some of the guys being away. And, DeBoer being out of the ball game, and it just never develops. Good job by the Cambridge Lions defense for sniffing it out.
Third down. Do they go back to Manning, who had that massive play to get him in the Lions territory? Or do they go back to the air?
It caught Cambridge because they weren't expecting it.
Coven and Camden, the receivers to the left side. 3 run to the line. They snap it to Fonte. A handoff to Manning. Manning trying to break through, trying to get up the field. Manning punches his way to the 20-yard line, Jay. So I'm not going to say I told you so, but I told you so.
Yeah, I just run play when you're down by.
Brings up a first down.
It gets the first down.
I think that was their thinking, is that Cambridge wasn't expecting it and they knew they could get the first down out of it.
Yeah, just you burned your last time out, so you got to score right now, John, and then get the onside kick and hope for a Mary full of grace.
Well, we've seen miracles, though, happen time and time again.
Speaking of miracles, where are you going to be tomorrow night, Johnny?
Well, it'll be an interesting... I don't know about miracles, but we're going to see a slobber knocker nevertheless, as it will be the Prospect Fighting Championships putting together a great event, their 11th event, I believe, as it is the knockout kidney disease. And, well, I hope that's the only thing I see get knocked out tomorrow night.
And we want to wish our Pee Wee team and Coach Adam Summers all the best. They're 3-1, and they're battling, having a great season, and they're on the road this weekend. And so all the best to them.
Just a quick reminder about that fighting. It all takes place at 845 Florence Street here in the Forest City tomorrow night. It is Prospect Fighting Championships, knockout kidney disease. So if you like to see fighting, and I do, and you like to help out a good cause like I do, why not check it all out at the Western Fair District tomorrow night, as it'll all go down at the Agriplex. Well, it's going down right now, KJ. The ball is snapped to DJ Fonte. Pump fakes, flushed out of the pocket. DJ is hit as he threw, and they're going to say incomplete pass. That should do it.
On the throw.
37 seconds. Well, it's
Looks
second
like
down,
they'll bring
John.
up
So
Junior Mustangs
it's
fourth
still
down.
37 or fourth. Second down. Second down.
Second down.
DJ is on his knee though, and they're gonna have to bring Jed Truppish in. Jed's gonna have to warm up. I think DJ is gonna have to come out here as he took a wicked shot there. Let's get the replay one more time. Again, great pressure from number 36.
As he's throwing, and again, I mentioned this earlier in the broadcast, when a quarterback is in the middle of throwing the ball, if you get a hit at that position, that can cause injuries very easily.
Jackson Lashuk comes in, and then number 92 is at a whale of a ball game, and it's nothing like you said, John. That's just football. I mean, we just hope that DJ is gonna be okay. So now Jed Truppish.
Tomas Nadazdi, though, has been all over the field tonight, number 92 for the Lions, and you mentioned it might have just had the biggest defensive player of the game there. For the Junior Mustangs, they need DJ Fonte, and unfortunately, it looks like his services might be for the remainder 37 seconds of this game.
And you got a kid, Jed Truppish, who's got a championship pedigree. He's won the last 3 years. I remember 4 years ago when they lost in Cambridge in overtime, and I remember telling him, "You're gonna get some, man." And he's worked his butt off, and he's a guy that's capable, so he can throw the football. He's done it, and great opportunity for him here. And again, 35 seconds left. You just like to see the Mustangs get a score here just to make, because this game was a lot closer than what this score depicts right now.
I think back to a game I called it the Football Canada Cup, a maritime bash between Team New Brunswick and Team Nova Scotia. Team New Brunswick was trailing that entire game under their starting quarterback in Tremblay. They went to a backup in the final minute named Dylan House.
Folks, let's make
and
sure
Dylan House actually rumbled into the house and led Team New Brunswick to the victory. So it's not impossible. There is times where the backup quarterback, a no-name guy, comes onto the scene and makes a name for himself.
I remember you going crazy on some of those broadcasts, John. It was insane.
So Truppish will take his first snap of the game. He's going to hand this one off to Manning. No, Truppish hangs on to himself. Stiff arms his way off of one tackle, but eventually dropped down at the 18-yard line. 32 seconds remains here, and a third down play coming on.
Get on the ball. Got to hurry up.
On the play. They'll bring up Junior Mustangs.
You don't have time to huddle. You got to get on the football.
And as you say that, the Junior Mustangs huddle up here.
It's because the backup. It's tough, right? You don't get those hurry-up reps, and you know what I mean?
As the official blows the whistle, less than 30 seconds remaining in this game. Truppish in the pro set, sends 3 to the line. Looks at his options. He's going to hand this one off to Manning. Manning trying to cut back in. Manning with some real estate, cutting back into the 5, down at the 7-yard line.
Keyshawn Manning.
Now, only 15 seconds, though, remains on this clock. And to be honest with you, Coach, the last couple plays from the Junior Mustangs looks like they're more playing for pride than the scoreboard.
Yeah, I mean, there's a timeout here, so there's 15 seconds. So, I mean, if you're ever talking about miracles, Doug Flutie, like, you score here, you get the onside kick, maybe you got a second, and who knows. But you're right, it's for pride at this point, John. I'm just trying to be the ever believer.
And I hate to say this for Junior Mustangs fans listening, but this seems like the perfect opportunity where they do score. And then they do try the onside kick. And like we saw in the NFL last week, what does the team that's receiving the onside kick do? Just directly run it back into the end zone and bury the team that tried to come back to begin with.
You see the onside kick from the Baltimore Ravens where they use that old pooch kick and force them to take a fair catch, which saved the timeout. It was nevertheless, they gave up the first down on that drive, but it's still a great kick by Justin Tucker.
So here we go. The ball will be snapped with Truppish with 15 seconds remaining in this game. Truppish trying to go to the end zone, fires it. It is incomplete according to the officials.
So only 4 seconds off the clock, so the miracle of all miracles is still alive. Truppish looks here.
Trying to find Chase Smith.
Yeah, just underthrows it. They called it complete, so the clock's going to run with 11 seconds to go.
How do they... I mean, if we watch this replay,
he does
second and short.
Nah, this is going to be the last play.
And he totally didn't catch it, as we see on the lovely replay before. The ball is snapped to Truppish. Truppish trying to use his center to push across the line. Did he get to the end zone? No! They say he didn't. Cambridge Lions with a big defensive stand to the final play of the game, and as a result, the Lions remain undefeated here in the OFL Fall 2019 season. They improved to 5-0 with a 12-point 35-23 victory here on the road at Citywide Sports Facility on your Friday night.
Now here's what this does, John. It sets up the Junior Ticats, who are in second place now, it becomes where, the Mustangs will be tough for them to get a home playoff game now because of this situation. And so it's really, anything can happen. There's still a few weeks left in the season, but the Mustangs right now will have to win out and hope for some help to get that home field in the first round at least. And we know Cambridge will be at home for sure because they're 5-0 now and they're 2 games ahead of everybody.
And as the greatest line in all of sports forms at midfield between the undefeated 5-0 Cambridge Lions and now the 3-2 London Junior Mustangs, 2 big storylines play a factor in my mind, Coach. One has to be injury. This seemed like an even-keeled slugfest boxing-style match, but then the second the injury started to pile up for the home team, that's when the undefeated squad and the Lions started to pull away. And then the second storyline, I would say, is the fact that DJ Fonte hadn't thrown any interceptions. His team had a 14-7 lead in that final minute of the second quarter. 3 interceptions, though, after that final minute in the second quarter results in his team losing 35-23. You mentioned it, though, to be devil's advocate to me, that he got the offense motoring. They got into Cambridge territory. On 2 occasions, they got past the Lions 30, but then fumbled the ball away back to the visiting squad.
Well, if you think about it, even with that last drive, they had 3 drives that ended inside the red zone, or and then even the 4th one with that bad snap. So, you know what? Great football game. I love it. The OFL is, showcasing great football. What I love, it's not that 4-down ground and pound. I mean, the ball's in the air. There's great runs. There's great passes. There's great defensive plays. Both D-lines, I think, were the highlight of this ball game. And of course, that number 32, Dalton, was one kid that was fun to watch.
I would say offensively, the player of the game of this contest has to be KD. Made it all so easy, all so cheesy.
Yeah.
As KD sprinkled in 3 touchdowns in this game, including a 50-yard strike to tie the game, and then that big touchdown in the third quarter to take the lead.
And he's kicking.
Yeah.
He was definitely the player of the game. I think, on both sides, we saw a lot of players make big plays, and it's going to be interesting. I can't wait for the playoffs. It's going to be really fun to watch.
Yeah, Piccioni, I would say, was the defensive player of the game
or 92.
for Cambridge.
I like 92.
92, Nadazdi.
Him and Piccioni, though.
Nadazdi had an incredible penetration of the offensive line all evening long and made DJ Fonte's job that much more difficult because he probably couldn't go through those reads the way he wanted to with the pressure coming down the pipe.
Yeah, for sure. And again, injuries definitely hurt the Mustangs. It definitely did. It threw them out of sync a little bit. Let's hope that DeBoer's okay and Akapova and even DJ at the end there. But you know what? It's just great to see competitive football, and the referees did a great job. And you, of course, thank God you're back. And again, to Stephanie, thank you so much for being our producer, and Adam Melrose for everything that he does. I mean, if you guys see what goes in here, I mean, this is like state-of-the-art stuff going on here. And, of course, the DJ and, Jameson E. So what a great night of football.
Yeah, we got to thank Battlefield for giving us the lift so Mr. Stoddard cannot be afraid of heights. Go high in the sky for all these great video shots and replays that you've been getting all throughout your Friday evening in this OFL competition. Melrose House, they not only do it on the field, a 41-yard touchdown from their son in Camden, but they do it off the field with the audio and video, as you mentioned, from the Purple Kool-Aid production crew.
And let's not forget about Ermina, who was really busy with all those injuries and did a heck of a job tonight of facilitating.
For both the Lions and the Junior Mustangs, as we saw players go down from both sides of the field. For you, Coach KJ Kedemy, congratulations on getting back into the saddle, by the way, not only on this broadcast, but with the next journey, I should say, in your football career with the Western Mustangs. Congratulations to you, sir.
Yeah, I'm learning a lot, and I'm just kind of just helping and learning, and just learning from some great people. So I'm very excited about that. And without the Junior Mustangs, that opportunity is probably not there for me. So I thank Mike Valenza and Danny Valente for always believing in me. And of course, we just got a great program here. We're doing great things, and Kim Stoddard, and we got some great announcements coming up very soon, John. And we've got a great board. I think of Sue Abazina, I think of Derek Henderson, I think of all the people that work hard behind the scenes, Ann Eves, just a great support staff here. And we're not perfect. We're getting better, and looking forward to what the future holds.
The Junior Mustangs had a shot this evening to beat the undefeated Cambridge Lions. In fact, they had an opening drive touchdown to go up 7-0. They were leading 14-7 going into the final minute of the second quarter. But unfortunately, 2 interceptions in the second quarter by DJ Fonte, sprinkled in with another one in the second half, ends up allowing the Lions to escape London undefeated 5-0 with a 12-point victory. For the Coach KJ Academy, I am John Urban. For the rest of the crew, have an incredible Friday evening. We'll catch you around next time here on Junior Mustangs TV.